Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Jeremy Scott Fitness Podcast Radio Show, coming to you on this Thursday, April the 13th, 2023. Hopefully it finds you staying safe and staying sweaty all at the same time. On today's episode, we have BJ Gaddour back in the house. But before I jump in real quick, the housekeeping things. One, the Jeremy Scott Fitness app has been live and rocking for a lot of you guys in there. If you want to check it out, jeremyscottfitness.app will give you guys a free 7-day trial to try it. You can go in there, all my personal weekly workouts, full programs, mobility flows, you name it, all nutritional content. If you guys like it, you can stay for a couple of pennies. If you think it sucks, buy BJ shit or go somewhere else. I'm happy to direct you guys anywhere else, but give it a try. If you like it, I'm happy to rock with you guys in there. We're just ending our 40 Days of Fitness Challenge. We'll be doing the summer Metcon one, I believe, probably like mid-May, give or take. So that'll be, again, all free for the app members. So jeremyscottfitness.app, and you guys are good to go. And then you guys already know the drill. This episode is brought to you by my homies at Athletic Greens. The one thing I take every single day and I never miss. I travel with it. I'm here in Palm Springs. I got it with me. athleticgreens.com/Jeremy Scott will get you guys a year's supply of free vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with order 1. Or if you want to try it and you've never tried it before in your life, hit us up, shoot us a DM, send us an email. I don't care where you live, what country, state, province you live in. We will send you one right to your front door for free. You guys can try it if you like it, and then get hooked up with all the free stuff from there. Again, you guys don't eat enough vegetables, and this is an easy health hack to throw into your life. So hit me up for the free one. Otherwise, athleticgreens.com/Jeremy Scott to get all the free stuff today.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
What's the most obscure or random place you've sent a packet of AG1?
I know we've sent them to Italy for sure. Australia, Paris, maybe Singapore.
Wow.
I think Monica would know. Obviously, I don't send them because I'm an idiot. But Monica sends them out, and I would think that's probably close, one of those places. I'll send it to you, man. Most people don't do that.
You send one packet? Or how many you send them?
It just depends. Well, if they ask for a couple, we'll send a couple. But no.
They have the goal to ask for multiple?
Well, sometimes they'd be like, "Hey, man, can me and my wife get one?" And like, I don't fact check. Maybe you're married, maybe you're not. But I'm like, I'll send it to you. Fuck it, dude.
They know they could split the packet, right?
Yeah, or snort it, like Scarface style.
That's the way to do it. Take a bath.
Yeah.
Take a bath in Athletic Greens. It'll absorb.
Rub it on your skin. Yeah.
You rub it anywhere you want.
It would.
That's what you're doing every time you get that Athletic Greens check.
It's, it is the best tasting greens on the planet, and they have been a great partner of the podcast, to say the least.
And you've been a great partner to Athletic Greens.
Yeah. They did send me, because I wear hats all the time, because I'm bald like Bruce Willis. They did send me an Athletic Greens hat. It's not that dope, though. But maybe I'll wear it like in a workout video just to like fuck with people.
I saw them on ESPN the other day.
Yeah.
Fucking full Athletic Greens ad. Dude, it's crazy because a decade ago, it was like, a couple online affiliates, and they grew through the online affiliate marketing. Like, Tim Ferriss promoted them and all that stuff, but like, they are straight mainstream now. Mainstream.
To see to all that stuff though too, like to see the back end, like what that login used to look like versus now, like how we track everything, analytics, like that stuff has changed a ton too. But we've been doing this a long time, bro. Yeah.
Slinging AG1, baby.
I know. I'll start with this story quick. Everybody knows BJ. I'll put all this stuff in the bio.
Not as many people as you think. Trust me. Am I the top fitness has-been in the game?
What do you mean? Everybody, I would imagine everybody who listens to this would know you, I think. Or they should. This is like is this the third time you've been on? Fourth?
Third time, like, since this became, like, one of the podcasts.
Yeah.
To listen to it in this space.
Because I think you and Colleen Fosh are like my top 2 most repeat people.
Really?
Yeah. And she's a freak.
Oh, yeah.
I just had her on a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Freak, bro.
I couldn't warm up with Colleen Fosh.
Dude, nowadays, like, I don't. Well, her and I talked about it a lot. Well, the one thing I didn't get on the podcast with her, I was like, can I see your dating app? Because she's on the dating apps.
Really?
Yeah. And she has like 6 pictures on there. And one of the, Colleen, I love you. One of the pictures on there is like kind of shows what she looks like. Like she has abs and stuff. And I go, Colleen, that ain't going to do it, bro. I'm like, you got to be, because imagine, and now she gets to pick as the female, right? Like you get to pick the dude. But imagine like you're just a dude, 5'9", $165 at a coffee shop, and fucking Colleen walks in. Bro, You got to be a different kind of human to like be okay with dating a girl who is so shredded and so jacked. Not only does she look like better than you, she is stronger than you at everything.
But that's the whole thing, though. Like guys that wanted to they just want to get the shit beat out of them by a woman.
Yeah,
that's the whole thing.
Well, I told her, I go, Colleen, basically you need to date a dude. I don't want to say he has to be in fitness, but I'm like, he's got to be over 6 feet. He's got to be over 200 pounds. He's got to be fit.
There's only one guy. The mountain.
Like, you know what I mean? Like
the mountain. That's it.
There's no there's no pool for that.
No.
Like, go to the Bristol Farms or go to Safeway. See how many really fit dudes over 6 feet that are over 200 pounds and in good shape are there. Like, and that are, not 22-year-old college athletes.
Yeah.
Just not a thing.
No, she's Thor is the only one I can think of.
Yeah.
But he is with someone right now from what I've seen, but anything's possible.
Well, and think too, like, to be, not to talk about Colleen on this episode.
Like, my entire dating history.
I go, but you got to know, like, every time you go out, they're looking at her and not you.
Oh, yeah.
Even if you're you or me.
You accept a life of being invisible.
Well, yeah, because even for us, like, we're fit, but she's a female.
Oh, they're like, why is she with him?
Yeah. And most dudes, I don't think can.
No, they can't take that.
Can handle that, but
they can't take that.
Anyways, you two are my top two.
Well, dude, it's an honor, man. I love talking to you, and I'm very excited about we got a little Brazilian Colombian feast lined up after this as well. As you can tell, I'm a current and former food addict.
Yeah, In Between Meals is going to be the next.
That's my autobiography, baby.
The next book title, actually.
That's what it is.
So I'll start off with this story. Some of these guys have heard me complain about getting older at points, but I don't like to say like I don't want to say I'm old because then my brain's going to think I'm old. So I'm young. I'm just seasoned. I've done the reps.
Well, you know what's great? Every morning and every morning when I wake up and every night before I go to bed, I'm reminded of my age when I put minoxidil at the top of my skull. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have enough hair to fight for it. Yeah. So
no, you do. Your hair looks good.
Thank you. Yeah. But it is just is what it is. That's the thing. It's like if you look at certain things, it's like, oh, you're not 40, but then I put the minoxidil on because I am biologically, like, and internally, all that stuff. But that's interesting that you say it because I think people are like, when I started, as I was like approaching 40, and I talked about this with you before, but like specifically, there's this time period, and you're going through it, where it's like you're dreading it, and it's like, what's going on? Like, I'm losing my youth and all this stuff. And then you kind of accept it and come to terms with it. And it's funny. I'm old. And people get offended by that because for me, I'm over it. Like, I'm over the fact that I'm 40 now. I accept it. I'm okay with it. I'm actually excited about it because there's a lot of benefits to being this age. But a lot of people are not there yet. And they're like, oh, well, if he's 40 and I'm 45, that means I'm even older. And it's like, if you're offended by that, you can suck my dick. Because I'm 40, all right? He's 40. I say that all the time with my wife. It's like something comes up, and I'm like, he's 40 because I'm 40.
That's the only – well, I will say that on my birthday because the Mike Gundy.
It's coming, man.
I'm a man. I'm 40.
That's the reference.
It's all time, dude.
Come at me. I'm 40.
You guys can YouTube it if you've never seen it.
Oh, dude, what a rant.
It's amazing.
And I remember being so much younger at the time thinking it's like, God, 40.
Bro.
He's old as fuck.
Yeah. Well,
and I live it every day, baby.
And not like, but again, because you've done so many reps and you've done this for so long, basically it's like the extension of being like an athlete and performing for that fucking long. Where a normal person, like friends of mine who are just like normal 40-year-olds, they don't really do shit,
Yeah.
And so they might not notice the, like, I don't know, the imbalances, or I don't want to say diminishing skills, but just different things. And like, I don't feel that way. Like, I feel like I'm young. Like, obviously I'm as mature as like a 14-year-old, but then I'll look and I'll let my, I won't shave for a couple of days. I'm like, oh, this shit's white here.
Yeah.
I'm like, why is that so white?
And then, you start waking up. You just wake up looking old at 40. Then an hour passes, you drink some water, you take a shower.
What is
that?
Oh,
there he is.
What is that?
But when you wake up, it's like, I look like a bag of dicks some morning. It's just going to happen now.
So I have these bags under my eyes. I'm like, what is going on here, bro?
And and I shave every spring. I go 6 months beard, 6 months, like this. I'm like, oh, yeah, okay. I mean, again, 440, like, dude, I've been talking to you, like, I got a $10 a month gym membership just because, like, I'm like, I got to get in the sauna. I'm trying to prep my body for these desert summers because I love to train in them, but you got to prep for it. because the heat stress is next level. If
What's the gym membership, like $20?
$10 a month. I get sauna access, and it's a pretty solid gym. EOS. Actually, I shouldn't have said that. Fuck. Because no one knows me there, so it's been great.
Well, also, I got a dude, Jacob, who used to work for me. You met him.
Yes.
Young Jacob. He travels a ton now. Planet Fitness, he goes. Yeah, I had the exclusive. And he's like, I get to go do everything. And the thing's $30 to use everyone like in the world, basically. He goes, then I go in and I feel awesome about myself because I'm the most shredded jack guy. He goes, I'm the strongest guy there for sure. And I'm usually the most shredded guy there too. But I get to use all the stuff for $30. I'm like, that's a steal, man.
Every time I'm feeling down and out, I go to the sauna. And I see men our age. And I'm like, man, I may have made a lot of mistakes, but I really made some solid choices for my health and fitness because the bodies I see in the fucking sauna, bro, men are disgusting. They're fucking like in there, like heavy breathing. The worst part is when they come in, they had just done like some HIIT or some heavy cardio, and they come in, and we're all sitting there trying to relax. This is a place of serenity. Okay, you're coming in, breathing heavy, panting like a rabid dog, and jacked up. And I got to tell you some sauna stories, man, because for me personally, I'm at the lowest I've ever been in terms of my general view of humanity based on the sauna etiquette I've witnessed.
It's like when you remember like being at like the YMCA when you were a kid and like old dudes would just walk around with their dicks hanging out all the time.
Man.
I don't know, like I thought that was weird when I was like 8.
Yeah.
I still think it's super weird now. I can't imagine me getting out of the shower at the Y after playing noon ball and I'm just walking around with my shit just flapping everywhere.
You don't have a swimsuit? Like it's like you don't have a swimsuit?
Towel?
You're comfortable with your fucking dick hanging on this hot ass fucking wood?
That's
I don't get it, but like
do people go naked in there?
So I haven't seen anyone so that's one thing that has improved since the last time, because I used to go to YMCA too when I was young in Milwaukee, and I would go into the sauna. Again, I had the same thing. Like you'd sit down on one of the lower steps, and occasionally you'd look back, and there'd just be some dude's hairy ass silver balls in your face. But the good news is no one's been nude. But I like what's happened. I feel like I'm on an episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm sometimes, because within a 1 week period, there were 3 separate men that were in there that they just start at one point in the sauna at random reciting the Lord's Prayer. Now, it gets hot in there. And the sauna actually, it should be for any people with a spiritual experience, because to do the sauna well, you have to come in with a strategy. You have to immediately come in with a breathing strategy to keep your heart rate down. Because before you know it, you go into a sauna, man, like your heart rate's in your fucking head.
Oh, yeah.
And I see people come in and they have no strategy. We can talk about sauna, but I'm like, you're religious, great, I respect it, but there's no reason to recite it out loud. We're here. I'm here right now. You don't need to be doing the Lord's Prayer out loud in the sauna. I had a firefighter come in, he's got his walkie-talkie, and I'm hearing, like, we're supposed to be here to relax.
Yeah.
I'm hearing all the alarms or possible fires in the Palm Springs area at full blast. After 2 minutes, he's finally like, okay, maybe turn this down a little bit. Not off, down.
Turn it down.
And then you got people coming in, they're watching like they're watching social media at full blast. It's painful just to see, like, I mean, I don't know, man. Like, to me, you come into the sauna. The other aspect of it too, they gotta fucking they gotta guzzle the water. I feel like I'm inside their bodies when they're drinking like you're hearing like
you can hear it, yeah.
The way to do it here, I'm gonna educate people. Bring a straw. I'm okay if you hydrate in there. Sometimes it's great you just come in, sweat, and then just get like an oil change, right? Just keep putting more clean water back in, keep sweating out the toxins. I get that. I do that sometimes for the sauna. But I'm not out there just guzzling, and you don't need to hear what's going on inside my body from a liquid standpoint. You know what I'm saying? Bring a straw. And the headphones are like, people, have you ever seen Sound of Metal?
Yeah.
Okay. Ever since I watched that fucking movie, bro, like the volume has never been lower on any, like in the car, and I don't even use headphones. I avoid headphones as much as possible now because I'm so afraid of going deaf.
Your phone will warn you too. Which is cool now. It'll say, hey, your usage is like too high or something.
Oh yeah, no, it's I'm scared of it. And I hear the volume they listen to and they bring it into the, and by the way, they're destroying their headphones. They're destroying their phone. This is a sauna. Okay, it's hot. You're dripping sweat on their phones. And I realize what it is too. It's just, we're post-pandemic now, and people are at a point now, like, and I'm there too. Like, I go to the grocery store, I don't see, there's people there all over. I don't even see people because we've gotten to the point now where like we're in a box and we had to avoid people and get away from people and keep our distance. And that's literally what happens. People literally come in as if no one's in there.
Yeah, I've never been a fan of the community stuff. Like if we go to resorts, hence where I'm at, and Heather, every time, and I love my wife, she's a saint. Hey, the hot tub would feel good tonight. I'm like, absolutely not. I agree with her. I think hot tubs are great. I love them. There's 0% chance you're getting me to go in here with Rick, Julie, and Stacy, because I don't want to. I can't. We're not going to be friends. I don't want to talk about what I do. I clearly don't look normal, so this is weird. And it's just I want to go with her, but no one else can come in.
You got to be one of those guys that actually like wears clothes in the hot tub.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, it's like you can't be coming in with those shoulders.
You look like an asshole. Like you don't, but like I tell her when I was young, and you and I've talked about this before many times. When I was young, all I wanted to do, especially like after college, like I'm like skinny, athlete, whatever. But then I'm gonna get bigger, so I'd wear a cutoff everywhere.
Yeah.
I get pumped as fuck, dude. Go to the post office, get jacked, go to the grocery store. I'm like, yeah, dude. Look at how ripped I am. And I'm sure I look like a bag of shit, but I thought it was great. Now I'm like, and I've been doing this for a really long time. Now that I'm older, if we go to places, because we go to these resorts a lot, and we've been to Hawaii a million times, I'll wear like a long sleeve tee or like one of your hoodies to the last second. Because I don't want to be that dude. Like, and I'm not saying you can't play into the stereotype, but if I walk in with like a stringer tee, bro, I look like a complete fucking meathead, bro. And I don't want the attention.
Everyone's self-conscious now. Like, you've ruined the room.
Yeah.
You've ruined the vibe because people are having a good time. And now all you've done is you made them feel bad about themselves.
You look like an asshole.
Yeah. And that's what's interesting about the sauna too and the good thing is it's dark. And like I'm old as fuck now. So for me, like some days I'm like, I got nothing to give, but I can go in there and I can just, dude, I just try to get a body count going.
How long do you stay in for? Or what's the protocol?
So I have like, again, I'm sick like this and so are you. And again, I'm smart now. I don't have to do these intense things physically anymore. I take on mental challenges now.
I don't want to interrupt you. You've heard the Tyson Fury.
Oh yeah,
Klitschko.
Yeah, where he outlasted him in the sauna.
That's fucking badass.
Yeah, no,
dude.
and that's it's breath, it's breathing and meditation. Like that's what the sauna is designed to do. Really, it's because of the heat. You've got to get into a meditative state if you want to last any amount of distance in there. But I try to get a body count. Like I try to get double digits in terms of me being in there and how many people leave before I leave.
Oh yeah.
People come in, they can do like 5 or 10 minutes, they go, but I'll put an hour in sometimes.
How hot is it usually?
Oh, this one's intense. This is the tough one. It feels like 120 plus, just because it feels like
it's hot, dude.
It feels like August here
Yeah.
or Scottsdale, where it's like, you're on a clock the moment you step outside, and after 20 minutes, it's not safe for an untrained individual. You know what I'm saying? Like
It'll
that's
smoke you, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, and that's like a challenge I'll take on now. And I just want to get hot and I want to sweat, but I don't want to physically do anything. You know what I mean?
How many days a week do you go?
So I got it about a month or so ago and prep for the summer because I take advantage of the heat during the summer for the mobility standpoint, the metabolic standpoint, the mental training standpoint. But I usually this is the first summer, my third upcoming summer here in the desert. It'll be my third. I'm ramping up finally. And so I've been going at least a couple times a week. I'll do some super long. I'll try to do a long session, like up to an hour. And with that, like I'll take myself to maybe 25 to 30 minutes, hit a quick cold shower, come back in to extend it. Because again, there's no need to suffer.
Yeah.
I'm capable of suffering, but I'm just trying to put in the time.
Yeah.
So that if I have to suffer, I can handle it. Just like that's practice, right? You don't fucking have to go playoff mode in practice.
No.
But you go playoff mode in playoff mode. And sometimes I'll finish a session with, already really like overheated. I'll go in the sauna to finish off. If I'm getting ready to film some content, I'll go in for 20 minutes and I'll fucking come out looking amazing and I'll put it on camera. I'll go back home quick. I want to get a sauna at home. It's $4,000 or $5,000 ongoing maintenance costs
For the good ones.
For the good ones, yeah. Because that's the dream. I've got a hot tub at home. But the sauna is nice, and really the breath work you can do in there. Also, just training your body to cool itself, and the metabolic advantages I think it gives. But it's just so funny because the sauna, along with the grocery store, my only human interaction, besides my wife and my dog. My dog I treat it like a human.
Yeah.
Talk to it,
Same here.
Exactly. And boxers, if you have a boxer dog, I think they're one of the most human breeds. because they're really big into eye contact. Most dogs aren't. And so you just communicate with eyes and language and mood and energy. But it's my only human interaction. So the conversations I'll hear, like, I heard these bunch of fucking teens came in and they're talking shit about like the most fit guy in their class. And he's like, yeah, well, his legs are big, but his upper body. And the other guys are like, bro, his upper body is big too. His legs are just so fucking huge. But, just the insecurity and...
You gotta hate.
They're talking about their fucking... These dudes, okay, like, there's no cut and there's no mass whatsoever. And they're talking about, I'm doing arms today. I'm doing delts tomorrow. I have to laugh because, we've all been there at the beginning of the journey.
Yeah.
But I also can just look and see, and it's like, this journey is not going to end well for you, my friend. Like,
no, unless you really open up your mind to like what you need to do, like what's possible, and like what you think. But again, when you're, especially younger people, it's what you think is cool.
Yeah.
It's like, well, this is cool. And we talked about this before, like the Andrew Coates had a post and it was like, in your 20s, like you just want to be jacked. And then I think even younger too. And then your 30s is like, well, maybe I want to be strong. Or maybe there's a mix of both those. And then after 40, you're like, I just don't want to be fucking broken down, essentially. But when you were that age, like, again, I grew up in the era of like you, Stallone, Arnold, and like I'm watching, Carl fucking Weathers. I'm like,
oh, man, my favorite, bro.
My
favorite.
These guys are they're amazing. And they're just like jacked. They're big and they're shredded. And I'm like, well, that's all I just need to be that.
And all they got to do is like play some sport. Walk. You know what I'm saying? Like, we talked about this. Like, people, you look the way you look. All right? You might end up being a fitter version of the way you currently look, and that's great. And then when you stop, you'll lose it. But you look the way you look. Very few people over the course of decades can completely transform the way they look. And even like, your mom was a fitness model. She was on the cover of a magazine in her 50s with you.
Yeah.
Now, my mom looks like the mom from $1 Million Baby. So I've really come a long way. But
well, it's because genetics is real. Like if I look at my dad's like, he's old as fuck now, so he's like shorter, over 6 feet.
Yeah.
Now he's probably 170 pounds. And even though he's like drinking, eat like shit, like if he doesn't eat like complete shit, he's like fucking shredded. My grandma, dude, was like 90. What would she drink? She would drink wine and eat cookies. Didn't go to the doctor for the last like 35 years of her life. Lived to be 90. And would just like walk and go to church and pray. And was fucking shredded. Like, so when you look at like her wrists, her ankles, her stuff, I'm like, I'm a mix of that stuff. Now I played sports and lifted whatever so I could keep some tissue on this frame. But if I just stopped doing anything, like I'm not going to be 300 pounds. No matter how much I would eat, I think I would just get smaller and smaller and smaller.
Yeah. Honestly, you might find you'd end up being a more appealing look to most people, a more accessible look. No, because no one's going to look like Jeremy Scott today. Nobody. I don't know anybody that's going to do it. Even on the sauce, it's not going to happen.
There's too much time and effort and energy of everything, of sleeping, of eating, of training. It's your whole. We've managed our lives around this.
Yeah.
For basically our entire adult existence.
Well, you mentioned like not getting checkups and stuff. Like we're at the age now where like now the prostate exam is coming up, and I have one rule in the bedroom: my asshole is off limits.
It's a one-way street.
Okay, only I touch my asshole. So I don't know how I'm going to deal with that. And I'm kind of like right now I'm like Ivan Drago with it. Like if I die, I die.
Yeah. Nah, dude. Like if you do, because I've had a colonoscopy before. Like you're out. You're not even awake.
Okay.
You just get violated. It's like on Seinfeld where like they drug Jerry and like I think they molested him. But like you just do that. You wake up and you're like, I don't even know what happened. Now if you go in and they do like the general fingers in, that's a.
Well, what about this? Can you teach me how to do it myself?
I don't know.
It's like I'll come to the office and I'll do it with you in the room, but I'm not letting you touch your finger.
It's like an app. It's like a mobility app. You just
that's what I'm looking for.
Along.
I saw an SNL skit, and it was about. It actually sounds like a genius product, which is one of the those when the skits really hit when it's like this actually could be cool. But it was basically a at-home colonoscopy kit. So you don't have to go to the office. There's a box, and you do it, and you send it back, and it's worth a watch. It was actually that show has been through the last decade, like a world, pretty much since Will Ferrell left.
Yeah,
it's been touch and go,
hit or miss.
But the writing has been pretty good in the last year or so, and they've gotten some pretty good talent on there. And their digital sketches, they've really come a long way, I think. But I'm like, someone's got to do that. I'm looking for the at-home prostate. I don't want to leave the house. And when I do, it's in small doses, but I want to do prostate at home. I want to do colonoscopy at home. If we can do my physical examination at home, I'm cool with that too. Let's find a way.
Those are like the normal physical for people, which you guys should do them yearly. I don't want to say it's like kind of bullshit. It's more just the blood work.
Yeah.
Because when you
blood work's
go,
very important.
They're not really doing anything. You know, like banging my knee. Like, really, bro? Like, but what? And like putting your thing on my chest and like hearing me breathe. Like, I'm not a doctor, so I'm not telling you that's worthless. But, dude, that shit takes 5 minutes. The blood work for sure. Like, to me, if they can pull everything to see all the imbalances like that, I think it's the most important thing for people.
Let me ask you this, because the last physical I went to, he asked me, so I was confused of what the ask was. He asked me, should we check your testosterone? And I thought, was he implying that he thinks I'm using like something? Or is it just like, this is what you ask all men my age? Because again, that's the thing, is like, you say we're not old, but we are. Like, this is the age where you check. But the thing is, if my testosterone is low, I don't want to know, because I don't want to know. I feel good. My sex drive is off the fucking charts. I've never had a harder erection in my life. You know, like, so if you tell me something, like you tell me it's low, what's that going to do to me mentally?
Well, I think that's why they do it, because the decline is so drastic for 8 million reasons.
But you're going to know, like, you're going to know if it's really low and it's going down drastically. You feel it.
Yeah, because all the things you mentioned, plus I think your sleep would suck, irritability would suck. You'd be probably depressed in certain instances, and you're like too aggressive, like you are.
Oh, yeah.
Like already. Like where if you, and that's like.
It's probably a good thing. That's the whole thing. It's like we're supposed to have a declining testosterone as we age. That's part of our life cycle. You're fucking with the life cycle now, bro. We have no research here. We have no long-term indications of what's going on here. I'm talking like 20, 30, 40 years of what this might do to you. Now, I'm not saying don't do it. I'm saying for me,
if you're a dude and it's supposed to be, let's say, 800, and you're at 500, but you feel like a rock star, I don't think there's a need there. If you're at 100 and you feel like a bag of shit,
and you're getting only semis,
it's probably going to make your life way fucking better. The person, John Berardi, came on, and his is high normal because Berardi's like, what is he like?
Gotta be.
He's like 50. He looks great. But he was saying, he's like, I'm high normal, so it's easy for me to say. He's like, but he compared it to like back in the day, like in the villages and shit. Like the young dudes went out and hunted because they're like super aggressive, they're viral, like they're the fucking people. Where the old dudes are just sitting there like super chill, calm, and like have the wisdom. He's like, because that's the natural progression. And if in my brain, the way I heard that was, well, at the bar, I see the 23-year-olds fucking scrapping like idiots, and typically not the 60-year-olds, because again, the hormone levels are different. It does change who you are. It really does.
No, it does. I mean, I've been on record for this. I'll say it again. The leading cause of problems in the world is testosterone. Testosterone, if you look at the history of the world, if you study it proper.
Well, it's why we have, but it's the same. It's like why we have buildings.
Yes.
It's why, like, why do you have streets? And we built, no offense, like, women are fucking great. We wouldn't exist without you. I'm not saying that. I go, but the dudes are the ones who are like under the streets. The dudes are the ones building the fucking railroads. The dudes are the ones up on skyscrapers.
They're in the fucking coal mines.
They're doing the dirty shit. And I'm not saying that women don't do that. I go, but the dudes are doing that. Because why? You're a fucking animal, bro. We're predators. That's what we do.
Testosterone is the reason why we're living in the greatest time that's ever been in the history of the world, quality of life, but also why the world is ending. Yeah. It's like it's that duality which makes it so amazing, and it's why, like, you see, and we both had some dads that were hard asses. That's probably a nice way of saying it.
Yeah.
And people that now meet them and like, oh, he seems like a nice guy. Yeah, he's over 60.
Yeah.
Okay, like, thank God. Because this guy, when he was fucking 30, he was a problem if he had a bad day.
Well, I thought Heather and I were sharing the story the other day. I'm not going to say the exact story in here because it's not super positive. But I'm thinking, I go, how old was my dad in this like era where he was like kind of in his own shit? And I'm like, because I'm a young kid, I think he's older. I'm like, oh, he's probably like 33. Because I'm like, if he had me when he's 23, I'm like 10. So I'm like, oh, he's 33 years old. So he's like in his shit. And I'm like, and now when you meet him, I'm like, he's in
his bag. Yeah.
He's an old dude. He's just like, still have a couple of drinks, but like can't really drink. He's just very like a 63-year-old guy would be. But there's a difference in the hormones is probably and you get older, you do get wiser. There's life lessons, whatever. But imagine if you jacked up your 65-year-old dude who's fucking already aggressive with like 1,000 milligrams of test, bro.
Oh man, for me, I know I'll go to the doctor the day that I'm like I don't want to watch porn. Then I know I'm in trouble. Like the day I don't want to watch porn, I know I'm in real trouble testosterone wise. Then I'll go check it out.
Because then you've lost your predatory.
Yeah. Like that's when, because I mean, honestly, what I'm shocked about, because I thought by the time we turned 40, that I mean, because everything I saw, it's like, erections would now be fleeting, but like, dude, I'm telling you right now, like my sex drive it rivals, if not surpasses me as a teen.
But like so when Berardi was on here, he said the same kind of thing. Like your lifestyles are similar but different. He has like 100 kids, but he also has like $100 million. So
legend.
He can sleep the way he needs to sleep. He can recover the way he wants to recover. He can eat the food he needs to eat. He can train the way he needs to train. He has a body awareness. You have a body, like your life is set up to have your hormones, other than the stress that you have in life, which we all do, but you've cut out a lot of those things too that a normal person has. Like you're not in fight or flight all day. And I think that's a huge problem of why people's hormones and lives are just fucked. It's because like you're not meant to be wake up, sprint to get ready, put on your fucking work clothes, get in your car, sit through traffic, sit at your shit job, have people yell at you, and everything, because I watched like Heather do it, everything's a fire drill, bro. Like everything in corporate America, in most jobs, is like double red exclamation points, return this email in 10 seconds. It's like, really, dude? Like, is it that fucking, is everything we do that important? It's not. I go, so you don't have to do that. And you've created processes where I think a normal person probably doesn't, and that's where you see these declines because they're eating worse, they're not sleeping as good, they're being the share of their body. Well, you'll sit and do an hour in a sauna plus mobility plus whatever, and it's like, but you have an awareness.
I take an afternoon nap, and I put my Normatex on while I do it. But this is the first time I've sat down in probably 2 months where I don't have something on my body. I've got the Normatec Go's. I put them on when I drive. I always have one of those Venom heating pads on my knee or my back. I'll be doing email, like if I'm about to go train. I'll do my work and I'll have the stuff on so I'm warming up in preparation. You know what I'm saying? So like I'm so locked in with it. And by the way, testosterone, here's my simple approach to it. Again, like, we live in this era where it's like I listened to one of these podcasts. It's like 3 hours talking about fasting, bro. And it's like they're two scientists. You probably know the one I'm talking about. It was one of the more popular episodes. I'm like, I'm coming away with nothing from this, man. They're talking about mice and it's all conjecture and they're getting so into the weeds with it. Now, from a standpoint of just testosterone, downtime. If you don't have downtime, your testosterone is going to suffer. This body was not designed, like you said, to be in that type of state extended.
All day,
day to day, 6+ days a week. Downtime is the key to maximizing your testosterone. And it's also not using the free time you have to go fucking blow it up in the gym. That's the thing. Like, I think one of the biggest shifts that happened for my testosterone the last couple of years is I've stopped training as much. And the sessions are shorter, they're not as hard. And I basically practice, bro. I just practice. I practice. And I film content, and I practice, and I film, and I practice, and I film. And I'll occasionally do some harder stuff, but I actually save more of the harder stuff now for cardio. We're at the stage now where like I really want to push my cardio. That's the most important thing to me, period, because cardio drives recovery, and it keeps us lean. And like I was touching on it with you too. It's like I know I can just fucking work the heavy bag once or twice a week. I'll maintain my upper body. I'll maintain my power and my conditioning, my athleticism. I'll jump in the pool anytime I want to like beat myself up because I never do in the pool. I can kill myself in the pool and instantly recover. And it's just all mobility, and it's mobility around the clock hourly. And it's a lot of the easy stuff. I heat, I do contrast on days I don't feel like doing something, which is most days.
Like, because there was a time, man, when you would, like, bro, you would train, bro. Like, I don't know the era of time exactly, but I only think of like one where, like, we're doing, like, when you showed up to like MetaShred Extreme, I'm like, oh, bro, you're like legit fit, dude. Like, you're thick, but like fucking lean.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, dude, I'm training. Like, I do this session here and this session here. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, bro. You're training like a pro athlete. Which, on a side note, I had a guy come in. I'm going to forget his fucking name. He works for Matrix. Came into the gym, knows Jeremy Shore. Super cool dude. His kid is a PT. Does a lot of stuff. He's in Miami now. He for the first year out of school, he followed John Wall around the whole year.
Wow.
When you start, and this is going to go somewhere for everybody listening. John Wall plays in the NBA, and in terms of like freak athletes, one of the greatest I've seen.
Up and down the court with the ball, man, insane.
Full speed, jumping off the wrong leg, off his right leg, and dunking with his left hand, like in traffic in a game. I can't tell you how impossible that is for 90% of people. Even most dudes in the NBA do not do that. Like Giannis, Braun, whatever the guys you know. Anyways, his kid, John Wall, paying him, a shit ton of money to follow him around the whole year. So he traveled with him the whole season as he came back. And he would go to the games with him and then go to the next city before, like the day before. And so he would treat him like 3-4 times a day, every day.
Wow.
So as soon as John got into like the city, like 2 a.m, text him, boom, come give me treatment. Around the clock, on the hour. That's what these dudes are doing to be able to like be at the clip that they're at.
Yeah.
Because it's not sustainable otherwise. And I bring that up because obviously like all of us are getting older. When you watch these people, they're doing so much behind the scenes you don't understand, so they're able to do that. And like for you, like back in the day, it'd be 2 like full training sessions, like legit lifting, and then like, oh, I'm gonna do step ups for like a fucking hour or some crazy shit, and then do all the mobility on the top of that.
Oh yeah, I was destroying myself. I was punishing myself,
bro.
I know, but that's the mental.
But you look great. You look great though.
You know what? If you ask the average person,
it's weight too.
They would prefer the way I look now to the way I looked then, because
you're a monster.
All I've lost was thickness.
Yeah.
And by the way, I don't want to be thick at 40.
Well,
I don't want to be so fucking dense that like, you know what I'm saying? Like you know the feeling. You get up and it's a chore just to sit.
It's too much weight for your frame.
Too much weight.
It's not. I mean, because you were like, thick and like lean. But God, dude, like how much effort every second of the day to keep that going.
Well, all day you're dreading working out, and there's anxiety all day. It basically, there was a period of time, I'd say about 15 years, where every day I was sore. But
you would do it anyway.
I would do it anyway, and I was just basically constantly sore, constantly worried and thinking about the intense workout I had planned that day. If something came up or it wasn't a good session or I had to move things around, the guilt. And now I'm at the point where it's just, I only do what I want to do. I only do what I want to do at this point, and I've earned that right. We both have, by the way, at this age. That's the beauty of 40. I can do whatever the fuck I want to do right now, and I'm so smart about it that I just pick my spots. And you know what's interesting too? Part of why I've loved like following the LeBron James journey now from 0 to year 20 is I've seen the life cycle of a world-class athlete in true form. And we usually can't see the end of it the way we're seeing it right now, and it's as spectacular as he can still be coming out of halftime, bro. Like third quarters on the fucking Lakers this year, trouble. Those old bodies can't come out of halftime.
No,
and hit the ground running.
It's amazing, and if you watch it, because again, he's a unicorn, freak of freaks, dude. You've never seen. We'll talk about who I think is the greatest, but he's had the best career. Like, I don't think he's the greatest basketball player to ever live. He's had the greatest career though of anybody, and it's not even arguable. Like,
no, you're right.
He's on the Mount Rushmore. He's had the best career of anyone you've ever seen, and I don't think you'll ever see that again in 100 fucking lifetimes. But you still see like this diminishing skills. And it's not, for a normal, like a casual, no, they'll never notice it. But it's not the same.
I saw this clip on YouTube, and it's him, it's the Redeem Team. And dude, this block he lays, I'll send you the clip. It's like, and I can see him, because the thing is, if you're watching every day, it's like, no, this dude is still huge. In fact, you could say he's bigger, but like, I looked at him at that age on the Redeem Team in the block. I mean, he blocked the guy with his elbow pit. The whole thing was on top. And the guy was so embarrassed on the international stage, like to get blocked. Obama's sitting right there, and Obama's like in his dad jeans, like legs crossed with Michelle, watching, a guy like LeBron lead the U.S. to victory. And, dude, he was so thick. he was so thick
and fast, and dude,
man.
much bounce. Like, it's like he would jump off of one leg like a trampoline.
Yep.
And he still is athletic. It is not the same, dude.
And from a dead stop, people can cover him now. If he's going, get out of the way.
He's a freight train, yeah.
But he cannot start. You get any and Kawhi Leonard was the first guy to be able to move with him laterally and stay with him really. But he can overpower you still. But again, and I saw it in the playing game. And by the way, he had 30 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists, a couple steals, a block, and not only had the game-tying 3, but what would have been the game-winning basket assist
to Schroeder.
Yeah. And then in overtime, did what he had to do. And all they're talking about is, and by the way, he did have some terrible passes. He was tired, and he's old.
That's what I'm saying. I go,
he's old. He just threw the ball away.
The fact that he plays at that level in the NBA.
45 minutes, man.
Bro, him and I are damn near the same age, bro. And we're all in the same circle. We'll all be on the same team. I can't imagine. And I like to think good care of myself. 0% chance, dude, to play once a week, let alone play.
Yeah, once a week would be a stretch.
Bro, and I would be dead.
Because it takes you 3 to 5 days really to recover from something like that. 3 hours of pounding.
And if you have a small injury, dude, you're gone for weeks.
For sure.
But dude, that's why I say you've never seen anything like it. But even at his age, you can tell that there is the amount of money he spends and all the things. It's just a natural progression. That's just the way it goes.
It is, and you can hang on to it. And he purposely lost 10 pounds after tearing the foot tendon, just to deal with the load, lessen the load for the play-in playoff scenarios. And again, that's the natural cycle of it. Is we have to shrink is the wrong word, but we have to get rid of any excess body weight at this stage of life, because it serves no purpose but to wear you down. We're not bumping people anymore. Like when I was a football player, yeah, being 275 helped me when I was pancaking guys that were much bigger than me. But it's a natural progression. That's part of it too. Is I think if you're afraid of getting old, and I was for a while, it was really in my head, and it was just daunting. It's are my best days behind me? That type of mindset. But the evolution of it it's a natural evolution. We have to embrace that. And again, the mental strength. We're at the mental stage now. I'm just going to train my mind, and the sharper my mind gets, the sharper my body gets with it too, right? The amount of stress I can put on my body nutrition wise now, taking on a full workload, still training, and being this age, I'm like, dude, this would have, the first time I started to shred in my 20s, bro, I didn't do anything else. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do any work. I would do a couple sessions.
Oh, bro.
And I would just wait till the next meal, and I'd lay down. I was lightheaded, lethargic.
It's because mentally you're not even close to where you need to be to do that. And you say that because I've worked with a lot of young kids, much younger than me, and they'll see me come in, and Monica gets to witness all this, and so does Heather. And they're coming in, I want to get shredded. And so they're dying. They're dying every day, and no offense, what they do compared to me is first grade to being a college professor. They're not doing anything, and they can barely handle it. And I'm like, damn, dude, I remember the first time I was there too. And now it's I just go through my life seamless because it's my lifestyle and it fits. And they're like, how the fuck are you doing this? I'm like, sometimes it's made for you and sometimes it's not. This just might not be your thing. And there's nothing wrong with it. You might not need to be. It's everybody who's listening is well, I need to have abs. I go, but do you though? Maybe you do. I go, but if you're fighting it so much and so hard to get there, I go, maybe it's not your thing. Now, obviously I had to train my brain for 2 fucking decades. So now it's this is, and again, there's also the external motivator of basically filming daily fucking content with no clothes on, and you built a business around what you look like. So you're kind of fucked if you don't, but it's also just easy now, where back then it was I would literally, and I would do it differently, obviously, but I would, cut my carbs out. I would do all the normal things, and bro, I would be just fucking miserable training with zero energy. And that's the difference too. When you're young, you can kind of do that, and you can go in and you can lift when you're sore or when something feels twingy or it's off, and the next day it's fucking gone. Now that doesn't happen. But there's a mental aspect too, where you do get smarter over time.
Exactly. And that's part of the problem I have with people is if I'm well fed, man, I am a blast. I'm a fun guy to be. People want to be around me. Now, when I'm in a hunger state, you get me in my fucking I did that. You do your ancestry report or your genetic report at all?
No, I need to.
You should, because, dude, it can really be informative. 44% of my genes come from an indigenous North African tribe. Never left until my father came to this fucking country. And it's just so fascinating because, they live in the desert. They're just survivalists, bro. This fucking lifestyle, everything's great until the AC goes off.
Oh, dude.
You don't have water. You can fucking die out here quick.
100%.
You can die out here quick.
You're better off living somewhere super cold than super hot if stuff went sideways. Because you can always start a fire and get warmer.
Unless you're old as fuck like us.
True. Yeah.
I'm like, why is this guy always fucking shredding? I'm like, oh, he lives in Arizona.
Yeah, bro. It's conducive to, it's just the lifestyle out here is completely different. We're always, it's 800 degrees most of the time, but nobody wears clothes here.
You can't eat as much when it's hot. It just you drink more water. It just everything good happens for the body. Yeah. Your joints love it. But when I saw that, and I'm like, because what really, I had food addiction. Straight up, man. It was emotional eating, binge eating. I've shared stories like gaining 35 pounds in 5 days, gaining 14 pounds as a 10-year-old on a 10-day vacation, having to get a whole new school uniform. And my dad is my dad still to this day, sardines and bread and harissa, which is like hot sauce in North Africa for those,
Bro.
I know we got a lot of white people listening, but, and I'd ask him dude, you've got some success. You live in this country. You don't have to eat like this still. But, so he's Muslim and I'm not a practicing Muslim, but I did some Ramadan. And right now, as we're kind of recording this, Ramadan is going on. And that's when everything flipped for me diet-wise. And that's when I think there's the benefit to fasting. But I hear people talk about fasting, and they don't know what fasting is until you do Ramadan. 30 days, bro, and no water, no food. You throw up, you break the fast. And I played 2 football seasons. In season, Ramadan. And what it gave me is just a level of focus. And what it is, the design of it is, it's just the discipline and just being comfortable with suffering, because it's suffering. The water part is not necessary.
Bro,
no, it's part of the religion, but
that's miserable.
Oh no, dude, it's
the water, dude. I can do the food for sure.
No, the water is unconscionable, whatever the fucking word is. Yeah. But it's cruel and unusual punishment. It does serve a purpose. But I have a fasting, like you, I have a fasting lifestyle because what it does for me is it gives me this discipline, it gives me this drive, but it makes me, what happens when I fast, I become that fucking indigenous North African, where anything in between me and what I have to do for my family, the problem is I'd be a serial killer, bro. Except I believe I'm a law-abiding citizen.
Yeah.
Now, ancient times, my body count would be high because that's the mode I get into when I fast. I'm a fucking Terminator, but I can't be around people. Because I can't be I can't talk about, what's going on in your fucking, I don't give a shit about your family. I hope everything's well. I hope everyone lives a long, happy life. But the small talk, just I just can't do it. I'm in work mode. But you can't do that in a society. You got to talk to people and smile. But when I'm well fed, I'm great. So what I do is I limit human interaction to, even last night, I'm going to be on the podcast. I'm going to have a larger meal because I just can't come in a fasted state. And that's the thing is people, they don't, and this is not discussed, you can't really kind of look this way without a certain amount of nutritional stress, which puts you in a position where, especially as you get older, where I don't have as much energy as it is, and I don't take in any calories until at the end of the day, I'm on pure willpower and, that fasted mode. And there are people listening, it's well, this sounds obsessive. This is, maybe you should eat something. Well, I'm 40. I can't look the way I need to look. He's 40. Okay? I can't look this way unless I suffer.
But I think that there's anybody who, in any, normal coach would tell you that too. If you're, whatever station you're at and you're trying to be leaner, and this is not a bad thing, there's going to be times when you're hungry, dude. Like, I'm not saying you got to starve yourself. I go, but if your goal is to be like lean, like whatever that level means to you, beyond where you're at now, and especially if you're getting to the more extremes, and everybody should just say this freely, like, you will be hungry at times. I am hungry every fucking day and different windows, and it comes and goes. However, I go, but it works for me. I feel best this way versus the other way, because if I eat a bunch, I get lethargic, I get lazy, I get slow, or I don't digest it well, or whatever it is. I go, so that works for me. But there's no, like, people think there's magic to it. There's no magic to fasting other than it gives you these guardrails. I don't eat from here to here, and it teaches you to go without. You can delay gratification, and it's like, if I know I'm going to eat once or twice, that's what the fuck it's going to be. I don't snack. There's no decisions I have to make. Honestly, for me, I do everything the same all the time. Like, I basically wear BJ's clothes all the time, sleepsoldseparately.com. We have a code for you guys in the show notes. But I do. I wear the same. I got like 6 pairs of these. I've been ripping them more in the crotch lately because I'm doing so much mobility. But I probably wear the same pair.
Well, you
sometimes.
got mediums on, bro.
I know.
I go large.
So I will wear all these all the time. Like, it's the same thing. I'll eat similar foods. I have the same schedule. I go because it's decision fatigue. If I had to come home and create this chef's masterpiece every day, it would just create another level of decision and anxiety and whatever. And I'm like, so the fasting to me just keeps it in a small window. I don't got to make 5 food choices a day. I make 1 or 2 at most, and I go about my business. I go, and it makes sure I don't fuck up at 10 o'clock in the morning because I don't eat at 10 o'clock in the morning. It's pretty simple.
It's the simplest way to restrict your calories. It's the best way to get things done during the day. It's the simplest way to meal plan and prep. It's natural with our body's clock. You know, we are hunter and gatherers, and you get the feast at night, and you relax with people, and you go to bed. You know, and again, so I listened to that podcast. I'm like, God, and I know millions of people are listening to it. I'm just like, this is not going to help anybody because they're thinking about fasting all the wrong way. Fasting is a discipline. It's a discipline.
Yeah.
And it's not about whether it can help you live longer or make your cells repair or burn more fat in a fasted state. It's something that very few people can do on a regular basis, and it separates you from the pack. And at the same time, so to be honest about it, it makes you quiet. And people don't like when you get quiet. They get uncomfortable. You know, people they can't just be comfortable. And this is what's great about having, I know you are this way with Heather. You can like sit next to each other for 3 hours and not talk. You're at that point and stage in life. People can't do that. They gotta talk to you. I'm filming content all day, and like I got rid of this guy, thank God, but he'd always have to talk. I'm like, bro, like I'm all day here. I'm not eating anything. Okay? I'm not even drinking water right now because I'm shirtless. I can't wait till I get to midday because I typically would do all my shirtless content first, and then we got to switch over to all the instructional content with clothes on so I can actually have a fucking drink. And my wife will say sometimes, like, come on, you don't have to. No, I'm a professional. So I'm coming in. If I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this to the highest ability, and this is what you have to do.
That's your process.
That's my process. That's my discipline. And that's what always attracted to me about Islam was just like, dude, I mean, like, you got to pray 5 times a day, bro. Like, these people coming in doing the Lord's Prayer in the sauna, like, it's great, but like 5 times at a specific times, you got to face a specific direction. And then there's this month-long suffering that you have to do, and it's just part of the culture. But when I went through that, and especially going through athletics with it, there's an edge that comes with it. There's an edge that just comes when you're in a fasted state, but when you go through an extended fast like that, and again, I'll probably never do it again. There's just no point for me to suffer like that. And again, I'm not a practicing Muslim, but I did it out of respect for my dad's culture and just to tap into my DNA. And I guess it's a long way of saying, the trade-off, I know for me, to look a certain way, be this, whatever, it means I can't really be a people person. Because when I'm hungry, I'm just not, I'm kind of a mean, moody motherfucker. I can't do anything about it. I'm Michael Jordan in The Last Dance, fasted. And by the way, I just rewatched that for the 4th time. And you mentioned, talking about the GOAT debate. And I think you nailed it with career versus... Well, there's always the career versus peak argument.
That's what I do. When I would ask you, okay, bro, if it was for your life, right? Like, and it's boxing, and you got a dude, like his prime. Like, for me, like, do I think Tyson is the GOAT of boxing? No, he's not the greatest boxer of all time. But prime Mike, bro, I ride with him all day, dude.
Yeah.
Against whoever. I don't care what era, whatever it is. I'm talking like cut off black, Pac playing, Mike walks out, he's trying to kill people 100% of the time. If we're at the park and you're telling me...
Probably fasted, by the way.
No, angry as hell. Like, if you tell me we're at the park and I have every, like, NBA dude who's ever lived and I have first pick, it's Mike. Because Mike is going to kill you, bro. And I know LeBron's career has been longer and he scored more points. I get all that. I go, but prime Michael, like, obsessed to the point, like, maybe he played golf for 36 holes and stayed at the casino till 2 in the morning and he came in and he's trying to murder you. But he had that skill. I want that dude. Like, he's John Wick. I need to bring him back. And I'm not saying Brown isn't great. He doesn't do that.
I was watching, I forget where the fuck I was, but I was in this, I was at P.F. Chang's. And they had like this old, it was like ESPN Classic or something. And there was this like Jordan, like 87 playing the Hawks. He was playing Wilkins. But I didn't know who was playing until I looked at the screen. It was far enough away. And I just saw this one body. From far away, this one body stood out. The way he lunged at the ball, reached, like his body was fully activated. You see what I'm saying? Like, just he on the screen, he just popped. I didn't even know who was playing. And I saw Michael Jordan on the screen. So there was that. I think physically, like, he could jump higher than LeBron. I think it was 48-inch vertical. But LeBron had some physical advantages, like 50 pounds heavier, 2 inches taller.
Monster.
But Jordan athletically had something different than I think we've ever seen before in that full package. And again, like 6'6". And I think in the history of the NBA, like, you go any higher than that, you're trading athleticism. You're getting some length and some advantages that way, some size, but like 6'6" is like Kobe, right? It's the prototype for being like that athlete on the basketball court with what's required, agility. It's a vertical and horizontal game, right? And he also mentally was stronger and had better decision making, which is why, like, in clutch situations, you're gonna lean that route.
He's the killer.
He's the killer, but he also, it was at the expense of
everything.
Oftentimes his teammates, everyone else around him.
Everything.
But so it is an interesting debate in the sense that, like, you could look at it so many ways. Who's the better athlete? That's tough because LeBron is better at 38 than Jordan was at 38. There's no denying that.
For sure.
And a lot of it is because of the advantage. Like, LeBron he's kind of evolved into more of a post. Like, he'll shoots a lot of threes,
but he has a body for it. He's bigger. The game's different. Everything.
They're all
but they're all like, if you put him in the who's the best athletes like you've ever seen? Like, Jordan, Bron, like Bo Jackson, Deion Sanders. Like, these are the guys they're Vince Carter. They're once in lifetimes, dude. They're just the freak of the freaks.
Oh yeah, and the edge also is the self-belief Jordan had. The only one that came close to that was Kobe. Because
he's as close to Mike.
The self-belief.
Yeah.
Like, LeBron believes in himself. There's no doubt, right?
The fact you mentioned that too, because and we'll talk injury shit too, but yesterday in 2013 was the Kobe Achilles game.
Oh wow!
Because the clip, whatever Instagram, because my Instagram feed's basically UFC, basketball, and then maybe like some fucking comedy shit. That's basically my whole generated feed. And it was Kobe, and they show in the game, and he's fucking killing. And then he just does a random, like, kind of drives in and just falls. And that's where he ruptures his Achilles. But if anybody remembers, he walks back out onto the court with a ruptured Achilles.
Shoots the free throws.
If he knows what that is, guys, that's not attached anymore. That means you can't extend your ankle at all. And he shoots him and then just walks back off the court. And I'm like, bro, that's some all-time gangster shit right there. Like, no normal human would ever do that. Ever.
Yeah.
But that's the Michael Kobe mentality, which is a different thing.
And I think LeBron got there mentally eventually.
Oh, he's a freak dude.
But Jordan had it right away. And he had it in a lot of ways because of his father, the competitive aspect he had with his brothers. If you watch that documentary, it's all the family, man. It's the family dynamic set him up for whatever trajectory he was going to go on. And, LeBron grew up in a fatherless home. Didn't have siblings that could push him. There's no way he was going to come into the league. And he came into the league in high school. So you're expecting without that father figure, the competitive nature with his brothers.
He's a freak of freaks. Like, you'll never see, and to people who are listening who are like, Bron stands, like, if you told me, hey, you got Jordan as the first pick, I got Bron as the second, I'm not mad. Like if we were drafting teams, I'm like, that's cool. Like I'm not like, oh fuck, dude, now we're screwed. Like they're so close. They're just different.
Yeah.
But like it's It's like, but I always look at like the prime anybody, like prime Derrick Rose. Like, dude, that was something. What the hell, dude? Like you watch these, like you're lucky for anybody who is lucky enough to be like our age or even older, that you got to watch Jordan and LeBron in your lifetime. Like, dude.
No, and what's interesting too is man, the amount. Every once in a while, I'll go into the comment section associated with LeBron James post. Mm-hmm. Man, the hate he gets, the hate he receives. It reminds me in a lot of ways how small people are. Just so I had that perspective when you go into that comment section. But also just that there's nothing you can do.
Well, dude,
you can break the scoring record. You can fucking be to 10 straight NBA finals. There's nothing you can do if someone fucking hates you.
Well, it's weird because in those two, a lot of times, like this Kobe, they just like forget he existed.
That's true too. Yeah.
I watched this. Iverson was at like some dinner or something, and he was talking, and he's like, they keep asking like, who's the best player? He's like, did they just like forget like Kobe was alive? Like Iverson's like, did you just forget Kobe Bryant existed? He goes, are we serious? He goes, if he's not the closest thing to Mike you've ever seen. Now, I would pick LeBron over Kobe if I was picking teams. I go, but again, I think he's right there too.
Yeah.
They're all in the same mix, but yet people will hate him. Again, it's the same way if you're a LeBron fan. Oh, Jordan sucks. He played against plumbers, blah, blah, blah. Like, yeah, dude. Like, but you would, if you've ever played sports and you're watching this, you would never say that. It's like, when people debate over like politics and stuff, right? Like, oh, you think this guy's the president or this guy should be the president. We can agree that the people we don't like are still awesome. Like, I'm a Vikings fan, bro. I'm not a Packers fan. They're like the most hated team we've ever had. You fuckers have had Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers basically my whole life. Now, I could sit here and be like, Brett Favre sucks. Aaron Rodgers sucks. They're fucking Hall of Famers, dude.
Yeah.
They're fucking amazing. I might think they suck, like, because they're on a certain team. I go, but I can't be such a homer. I deny, like, how great they are. And that's what people do. Well, I don't like this guy. Like, first of all, how can you not like LeBron? The dude has went from high school to now and done.
A lot of that is straight. They don't like the off the court activism or just the voicing. Like where Jordan was straight about business, even Republicans buy shoes, that type of stuff.
I love Mike, bro. Like, no offense. If Mike came in here, he wouldn't sign an autograph for us. He wouldn't talk to us. He wouldn't even acknowledge we're alive. LeBron would do that.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm the biggest Jordan fan that's ever lived. Jordan's an asshole. Like, you can't give him a pass for, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, people just choose, like, well, LeBron sucks. I'm like, I'm not asking you to like him, what the fuck he does in his home life. I'm talking about playing the game of basketball.
Yeah.
He's fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Like,
and the knock I'll give to both Jordan and Kobe, man, they had to get up a lot of shots.
Well,
they had to get up a lot of shots. Very few. Like, I think that's where LeBron separates himself, is that he doesn't need a lot of shots. And he still will take some shots he doesn't need to take, but not at the clip that, Jordan and Kobe, like, they never saw a shot they didn't like. And yeah, eventually you're going to score 30 points. You get up 30 plus shots.
Oh yeah.
But I think that's something that is overlooked too, is just the efficiency, especially like when he was with, and by the way, the efficiency is still incredible, but like his Miami efficiency, where like he only needed like 16 shots some games.
He's the dude. It's to watch it, man. Well, again, he's the greatest scorer of all time who's not really a scorer.
Yeah.
So let that just sink into your brain.
That's
It's fucked up, dude.
Yeah. But his what he's done for the longevity conversation, Brady, obviously that's great, but quarterback in the NFL compared to like
I don't understand
basketball, not even close.
How these dudes play 100+ games a year. 82+ playoffs. Like, or even if you're taking nights off and the shit they do now, which is fine. There's like some crazy Jordan stat though too. Like in that second three-peat, like I don't think he missed a fucking game, dude.
No, he would show up. That's the thing, is these guys. We're smarter about things now, and we have a more longevity mindset than we did in the 80s and 90s. But yeah, the way they played through injuries was incredible, unnecessary.
Yeah,
but incredible.
But the fact that like their bodies can, and again, that's why you have to know, like, hey man, genetically, like we're not all the same, because that's a gift. Like, for as athletic as I may have been, or am still am a little bit, whatever, I didn't have that, dude. Like, because I could play 30 games, dude, and my body was beat to shit. These dudes are doing, now the recovery is different, whatever. These guys are doing 100. in their late 30s, or even if they're taking nights off. LeBron plays 70 games this year. He's 38 years old. He's played a trillion basketball games. Like, it's insane to watch the amount of time that is. Like, who was on? He was on the Knuckleheads podcast, which is Quentin Richardson and Darius Miles, JJ Redick. And he goes, the reason I retired is because of my offseason, bro. He goes, my offseason is 10 times harder than the NBA season.
There's just so much body work, man. It's just nonstop body work, and you got to immediately get right into it, and it takes over your life.
When you're going to take a nap, when you're going to wake up. I'm like, Jesus, dude. Like, and then you have like a normal person who's just trying to exercise, like going to the gym, beat the fuck out of themselves and do no recovery, no anything, and be like, well, what the hell? It's like you have these two different like planets, and I'm like, if you guys understood what some of these, and again, I understand they're freak athletes, but they're spending so much time behind the scenes that you're not spending, and I know you're not doing as much, but you can't like just wake up, go into the gym, not get loose at 43 years old, beat the fuck out of yourself at F45 and like call it a day.
Yeah.
Like, that's not a recipe for success. I would argue that's probably making a lot of people worse.
Yeah, you know, I mean, before we started recording, I said the biggest mistake I'd made in my fitness was strength training. The pursuit of strength training was the biggest mistake I ever made. And
see, now people are going to get weird, bro.
I know. I know that. But the thing is, proof's in the pudding, man. The stuff I'm able to do with my body now at 40. But also the fact that the last 2 decades, I've just been correcting all the mistakes I made.
Well, and you went at like the highest scale too, though, right? It's like, so you've been lifting forever and pushed the limits. I would argue like genetically as much as anybody, probably.
Maybe
for like what if it's the universe or God or whatever gifted you this body you have, like you pushed it to the extremes.
Oh yeah, but that's
maxed it out.
That's part of it too. Is that you can only push it. You just went through this, which we should talk about back problems because
all right,
can relate to that.
Let me do this quick. So BJ tells me things sometimes, and they're usually right, but they're negative. And so I'm not really a fan of him, and I usually think he's fucking crazy. So I've shared this pandemic story on here. When the pandemic started, he's like, this is going to be a 2-year prison sentence or a 2-year training camp. And I'm like, sure, dude. I don't say that to him. I'd be nice. And then I hang up the phone. I talk shit about him to Heather. And I'm like, bro, BJ thinks this is going to take 2 fucking years, dude. I go, he's losing his mind. And then sure enough, like fucking 2 years later, here we are. And then the last time I was here, he's telling the story. And he's like, yeah, I was doing kettlebell swings with like, how heavy of a kettlebell?
I had a 25-pound dumbbell, bro.
Okay.
It was a joke.
That doesn't even exist. It's like, if you can't even do plates on the barbell, like, what are you even doing? Like, that's what I used to say.
That mindset, yeah.
Like, God, it was so fucking dumb. Like, we would literally talk shit to our friends. Like, if you were doing incline bench at like 16 years old, if you couldn't put plates on it, I'm like, just do push-ups. You're a pussy. Like, sorry, everybody, but that's the era that I grew up in. And he's telling the story. He's like, I did these kettlebell swings and basically just like crippled me and I couldn't move. Was it later in the day or during the day? Like you noticed it happened and it basically put you down. And he's telling me this story and I've known him for 100 years and I feel bad for him kind of. And then in my head, I'm like, what a pussy, dude. Like, how do you get hurt doing that? I'm like, that can't be a real thing. And he's like, well, just wait till like you're 40, you know, some of this shit will happen. And I'm like, yeah, bro, I don't think that's going to happen to me. Fast forward. It's like 8 weeks ago yesterday. You guys have heard me talk about this on here. I was just sitting in my office chair and it was like the fucking Holy Spirit came into my lower back and just like lit me up and made me as tight as I could possibly, like a spasm. I've never had one before. And I stand up immediately so Monica doesn't think I'm like losing my shit. I go like try to stretch out, you know, okay, is it my hips? Is it my piriformis? Is it my QL? Whatever. I'm doing all those stuff. For like a week, dude. Putting on underwear and like getting off the toilet was like fucking painful just to move. And I let that go on for a couple weeks. Long story short, I eventually go in and get an MRI, which for anybody who's never had one, they're super fun. I think you'll enjoy it actually. I'm kidding. When I went into this MRI, I'm fucking machine, dude. Like my heart was 200 beats a minute, beating through my neck. It was not a pleasant experience. And if you're a bigger person, I don't know how you can even fit in those things. So it comes back and they're like, sure enough, you have disc issues at L3, L4, L4, L5, and L5, S1. So yeah, everybody, my back was fucking tight. And I did have a back spasm. And as I start to pinpoint it down, what was I doing? Nothing. I had done nothing. I was literally sitting in a chair, and for whatever reason, your body or your brain sends a signal that says, hey man, this posture isn't safe. Whatever's going on isn't safe. We need to correct it. And so now I'm working with Dr. Russell Teams. Shout out to the people at Desert Brain and Spine, doing decomp with him. And then obviously Dr. Geyer, who basically just scrapes the shit out of my chain up and down. If I'm really trying to diagnose it from afar, as we look at it, like my psoas, basically my whole interior is super tight. And if I really look back, like what's the stuff I wasn't doing? I wasn't doing any psoas work, which most people don't.
No.
I wasn't doing any iliacus work, which most people don't. Now I have like all the shit. I've always had it, like the pso-right, the hip hook. This hip hook I'm not a huge fan of. It's like you can kind of put it in there. The pso-right I do think works relatively well if you want to dig into your shit. If you can, again, if you understand where it is. That, TFL, hip flexor, all those things super tight on me, which tend to pull down, pulls the pelvis forward, gives you kind of this like little lordosis or like anterior tilt, and then my shit just became like pressed down. Now, admittedly, some of the disc stuff I've had, I could have had for 20 years because I've actually have no pain like in the disc areas, but I've also deadlifted 600 pounds and fell on concrete 50 times, and I've put in a lot of fucking reps. And so,
but even with that, man, gravity, 40 years of gravity,
yeah,
there's no space between the discs.
And so, yeah, once again, BJ is correct and I am wrong.
Well, you
motherfucker, if you tell me one more negative thing, you're never coming on the podcast again.
See, the thing is, it's to be told, so you make the adjustment in real time. But here's the thing: we're both stubborn people. We're gonna change when we want to change. No one can tell us when to change.
And I'll ask you this, because if I think back, so then what I do is I go back in time, like, okay, what are all the dumb things I've done? And then I can think of a lot of them, obviously. But more recently, like, maybe deadlifting when I already felt like twingy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, but again, we come from this era of I'm lifting. You're not the same person. In the basketball world, I've committed to that a long time ago, where I'm like, I can still shoot the same shots. They don't go in at the same clip. I can still get off the ground and dunk a basketball off 2 feet and off my left leg. My right leg, that will never happen again, no matter what I would do. And I don't need to. It doesn't matter. But I was committed to that. I'm like, well, I'm an over-the-hill hooper. I suck. It's fine. But in like the fitness world, we hold on to things. Well, I've always been super strong, so let me do this. I'm like, yeah, my low back feels stiff, but let me pick up fucking 315 for reps, like a fucking moron. You know, and was that part of the day? For sure. It's all part of the day. But it's to your point, this last 8 weeks has sucked fucking balls for sure, because I've never like had injuries before or anything. However, I've learned more about the pelvic bowl, dude, than I've ever wanted to know in 8 weeks. And I have watched more drills and learned more things about not just lumbar spine, but everything surrounding it. I will be a million times better because of it. So that's the gift.
And you're going to find ways to continue to get more out of your mind and body with less damage to your body. Again, that's the whole thing is like, and what I said about strength training, again, the biggest problem with this fitness industry is the pursuit of load, period. There's 3 things that matter for physical health. 3 things: your spine, your heart, your diaphragm. Strength training doesn't help any of that. It doesn't help any of that. In fact, all the loading movements are so fucking compressive. Like I tell people this, and I've said this, I probably say this in your podcast every time, but like there's no dumber exercise in the history of man than the barbell deadlift, because it is the definition of compression, and all you're doing is trying to find how much more compression you can put through your body. If you want to find...
If you do it properly, which very few people do.
You can do it properly, and you're still compressing your spine. You know what I'm saying? Like you may not be compressing it as much, and you may not get hurt as early in your life.
But eventually, gravity will catch you. Gravity is going to catch you whether you deadlift or not.
This is what people don't fucking get. And that's what's so disheartening for me, too, is that you just... Yeah, whatever. I won't go that route because it can be insulting the masses. But the reality is, and I spoke at an event like 10 years ago when I used to speak and network with people when I had to. Cressy was there. Robertson was there. Guys I really respect, and they're still in the game. But I made a comment like, at some point in life, you get strong enough. and the look on people's fucking faces from their strength and conditioning back. Like, Cressy, I think he's still deadlifting 600 plus pounds. You wouldn't know it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, and again, some people can do that.
Some people can do it.
But and again, what I would say is this. There does come a point for everybody where you will not get stronger in the way that you think about it in terms of like whether it's 1 rep load or 5 rep load or 10 rep load. So what I'm saying is that let's say the pinnacle for me deadlifting was like 600 pounds, let's say. That would never be more than that. It never even should have gotten that high, in my opinion, because that's now stealing from me.
Yeah.
It stole stuff from me then, and it's probably stealing stuff from me now. How much do I really need to do to be optimal me from that position? Whether it's 200 pounds or I don't know what that is, but the point I'm saying for everybody listening, if you're a dude especially, there's going to come a point where your bench press does not get bigger. It just won't.
No.
You're going to be capped out. And if you're like over 40 years old, you're probably not adding pounds to your bench press. And even if you can, should you? And what good will come from it? I don't think that's the thing where in the strength and conditioning world, we don't want to admit that like, oh, you don't, no, you can get there 15 different ways. And if it doesn't feel good, why are you doing it?
So let's there's so much to unpack right there. Let's go right to the fucking back. So what does a deadlift do? It compresses your body. You can put a lot of load through it and it can build your body from head to toe. No movement can do it faster. No movement does it at a greater cost. And what I like to do for spinal health is I love to do weighted pull-ups with the med ball squeeze between my legs. This is what happens there. I get hip traction and I get pelvic floor activation. I get decompression of my spine in real time. And I get an infinitely progressible bodyweight exercise that travels like a championship defense. All right? I can do pull-ups anywhere. And I'm always on that fucking bar. My back has never felt better since I've added in med ball squeezing push-ups and also hanging leg raises, by the way, with the med ball squeeze between the legs. Oh, yeah. Great for the hip flexors. Again, you're getting tractioning and decompression. And had I pursued those in my teens to 20s to 30s to 40s, I don't think I'd ever have lower back issues. Now, it's baked in the now I just have to do a certain number of things. I'm going to wake up tight every morning in the lower back. I got to put heat on, vibration on it right away to start the day, and I got to hydrate right away to start the day. And I have a certain number of things I have to do every day now for my lower back to keep it feeling good. But had I not made those mistakes in my 20s and 30s, I could have probably pushed that off to like 60s and 70s. That's the fucking difference. Cressy, one of the smartest guys you'll ever meet in this fucking business, but he's still deadlifting heavy weight. So what I'm saying is it happens to all of us, by the way, because it's a lot of ego and it's a lot of where you started, where you came from. You don't want to lose that. And you feel like, I got to keep doing the things I did when I was young because that's what's going to make me old. Stopping that. If you don't use it, you lose it. But at some point, if something was suboptimal and or damaging, yeah, I mean, like you got to make the adjustment. But and again, like I haven't seen that guy honestly since the fuck great guy. But I'm just saying, like
one of the smartest
people ever. I think he's one of the best to do it.
Yeah.
But that just tells me, like, if he's still doing heavy deadlifts, we're fucked. Because if you want to fucking find out about quality of life, ask someone with back pain over 40.
Oh, bro. So
your life's over, man. Your life is done as you know it.
So you share this. So obviously I've been going to Dr. Russell Teams in his place. I go there and just do decomp, but I obviously know these dudes. So full disclaimer, I get the benefit of working with some of the best like medical people because of who I am or whatever I can do for everybody else. And so I get to look at a lot of things that normal people don't get to look at. So they'll break down like my stuff, what it looks like, up chain, down chain, but I get to see other people's shit. Bro, I got to see a picture of a spine, dude, where the vertebrae above the other vertebrae was like growing like on top of it, the other one, because of and I'm like, and I don't know, and there was like some of them there was like no space in the disc, like it's just bone to bone basically, and I'm like, how the fuck does that happen? And he's like, well, obviously the weight distribution anterior to posterior is obviously what I'm saying is like a giant beach ball stomach essentially, but ignoring it for 10, 20, 30, 40 years, you get these degenerative things going on over time. And that's, I guess, the point I'm sharing with people. It's like you have to really start to understand, like, what do you want to do, like, long term with everything? And and we always say this: does your fitness steal your fitness? And some point doing things that don't feel good or are not naturally for you are probably not ideal. Like for me, like when we were back squat, like in college, I'm one of the shortest guys basically on my fucking team. Why are my roommates who are 6'10" barbell back squatting with terrible ankle mobility, shitty knees? I mean, like their adductors are tight, their hips are tight, their thoracic spine, everything in their body is tight. Yet we're loading them up and having them go through these ranges of motion where there's 15 mechanical problems going on. We never should have been doing that.
No,
in my opinion. And I'm not telling you guys not to back squat or not to do whatever. I go, if something feels good to you, cool. But if it doesn't feel good and a different exercise elicits the same response in terms of like muscle tissue, do that one instead. And that's what I was saying. Like, imagine you weren't you, right? And your stuff started to hurt or be tight and sore. What does a normal person do? A normal person's like, well, my shit's hurts. Let me go to my doctor, who is not an expert in this at all. General practitioner, nothing against them. And what are they taught to do? Well, let's give you an injection or let's give you some drugs. And that doesn't fix anything at all. It masks the problem for a little bit. And then maybe if I'm in chronic pain for a longer period of time, I'll resort to a person who cuts, an orthopedic, and then we have surgery. And now we're basically permanently fucked. Because that, no offense, probably doesn't fix the problem either, because the chain of events that cause that are not fixed. And to strengthen all the musculature around the issues, whether it's ankle, knee, hip, back, whatever it may be, you're screwed. And so to your point, yeah, if you've, dude, I kept saying that the entire time, like to Dr. G and Dr. Russell. I'm like, bro, how do people live like this, bro? I go, I felt tight my back is still a little bit like stiff now. I'm 90 in 8 weeks. First 3 weeks of me trying to do my own shit because I thought I could fix it because I'm a moron. So probably like 5 weeks probably. I'm 95% better, give or take.
And by the way, that 5% is probably not going to come back.
And that's me doing decount 3 times a week, going to do tissue work. Typically, basically, we're just scraping my tissue and going ART stuff. And me doing 30 minutes, and this is not exaggerating, everybody. I'm doing 30 minutes of basically drills every day for hips, adductors, psoas, QL, everything basically around your pelvic bowl, if you will, digging into the G-meads. That's a half hour on top of my normal shit. Now, I would do that for the rest of my life if that's what's required to feel good. I don't give a shit. But a normal person, I don't think, is willing to commit to do that. And you need to if you really want to fix, not just how I get pain management, I go, but I'm more concerned with fixing up chain, down chain. What caused the tightness and what caused the imbalance in the first place?
Yeah, and that's ultimately the biggest thing, man. Like, do you want to be strong or do you want to be fit? Do you want to move weight or do you want to move well?
That's a better term, though, because when you say be strong, like my Dr. Geyer sent me this Asian girl doing like fucking qigong or something. I don't know what it was, like a mobility drill basically. But it was so effortless for her going into like lateral lunge to pull, like she's moving in a way my body can't move. Now, obviously, can I get on the assault bike and smoke her ass? Yeah, for sure. And I can push some load. I go, but I can't do half of what she can do. So am I strong or is she strong? Now, I can lift weight. She can't lift weight. And that's how I think, like when you phrase it, it's like,
but she chooses not to.
Yes.
I think so. Here's the thing.
So now she has the skills now.
Sure.
So now she can get all the things I have to get much, much easier. I have to die to get to where she's at.
For sure.
Like if my goal now, because now I'm fucking obsessed with it. Again, I'm just listening to the Michael Myers theme song. I literally listen to the Halloween theme song the entire fucking time I do this mobility flow because I'm that fucking pissed off every fucking day I have to do it. I'm very thankful that I'm feeling better and I can tell the range of motion, but goddamn, like some of my shit is so fucking tight, bro. But I'm going through, I'm like, maybe if I can do the splits, like if I can get to that, like that will be maybe by my birthday, maybe by the end of the year, maybe fucking never, who knows? But that would be my goal. But I'm having to die to get where she gets.
Yeah.
That lady who has perfect mobility can come in and I can teach her the shit I know in a couple.
And that's because you're ultimately fixing. You're not like, she didn't have to damage her. Like you've damaged yourself.
Yeah.
And now you're fixing. So that's why it's so miserable. And the thing is, I finally gotten to the point with mobility. It's one of the few things I enjoy doing now. I like to do mobility. I like to box. I like to get in the pool. Love to walk. Hate strength training. Hate it. I don't really, I told you, I don't use dumbbells. I don't even use dumbbells anymore unless I'm filming dumbbell workouts for my audience. But
I always like the bro shit though.
I mean, I get it, but like I go in the pool and I get a better arm punt than I ever got with dumbbells.
I'm gonna have you text me, but what water weights do you, or apparatuses use? You show me them.
Yeah, it's a Hydro Revolution, and it's basically these water bells. There's grips, and then there's basically just drag resistance, and you're getting resistance to the full range of motion. You're getting fluid resistance, and much like when I first started boxing, I was so stiff on land. I made the biggest improvements in my boxing when I started to box in the water, because you're in a fluid medium. So you basically, again, you get complete fluid resistance. You get the compression of the water, which is instant recovery. You get a nearly zero gravity environment, so no joint stress. But you will get better muscle pumps. You'll get better contractions, and you can get better mind-muscle connections in the water. So again, like, it's one of those things. The meathead in me or the ego in me would be like, oh, I got to bring out those 25-pound dumbbells. And I can still use them, but it's like, this might give me a little bit of elbow stress. But if I do the version of this workout, like if I do the reverse curl to supinated curl to hammer curl complex, right, a minute each, it feels much better in the water, and I come out of the water, I'm fucking huge. On land, that's going to cost me a little bit. So again, it's just one of those things, like, it is a work smarter approach. And you just talked about the bench press too. I could push close to 400 pounds, but and I just wrote this new push-up manual. I'm going to start making manuals, bro, because like making a full book is daunting. It's a lot of work.
Well, then you can take them all and just put them together.
Yeah, that too, right? And just get a bunch of and it's called the Ultimate Push-Up Guide. It's going to be on Amazon probably by the time you share this.
Is it because people are so bad at push-ups?
People are terrible at push-ups, and people, again, like you said, and much like I did, I went first because I could only do push-ups on the knees when I started training. It's embarrassing for a 14-year-old kid to only do push-ups on the knees.
It's like the bird. We call it the bird feeder. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
Yeah. So you're on your knees, but your head.
People, the pecker, yeah.
People will do that because in their brain they think their whole body is coming closer to the ground, and it makes sense in like some fucked up backwards world way. But I'm like, bro, you're not moving. It's like, you ever watch people do like ab wheel rollouts that don't really roll out?
No, it's terrible.
It's like they're kneading dough.
Yeah.
Because their hips don't move.
Because again, people aren't so they call it body weight training, but really what it is, it's external versus internal resistance. It's control of one's body. It's the foundation of everything that we do, and it's the key to moving well. And like I mentioned to you before, we started recording, it's really Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee is the man. Bend or break. The be water philosophy, and that's why get-ups are such a big part of what we do too. A get-up from back to stand. I've never gotten more shit from stuff I've shared or dislike or whatever, like by sharing get-ups, but it really is like, and all the members that I have do it and they get good at it, and it just gives you stability from head to toe, from back to stand, and it gets you all the angles that you need to have resilience.
But you know how hard, like, again, there's so many people who can go in and do the basic lifts, and we get super rigid in those because we're taught to do these patterns, keep the spine neutral, you name it. They can't do a get-up, bro. It's fucking hard for people to do. It's insane.
That's because they don't fucking work with an OG like me. I teach it like a fucking dude.
No,
I've got people.
Your steps are the best.
Oh man, no, I have the get up. Like, again, you want to invest in a movement, learn how to get off your back to a full stand and back, holding a weight overhead, and you're golden. You literally do a couple reps of those a day, and you connect the whole body in one. But regardless of that, going back to the push-up, do max reps of feet elevated push-ups, to max reps of floor push-ups, to max reps of hands elevated push-ups, or do 40 seconds each, 20 seconds rest in between. And then try to replicate that on a bench press. Try to replicate the pump you feel from that combination and that stack on the bench press. It's not possible. And the reality is too, the push-up, it travels like a championship defense. You can do it anywhere. And I start with the push-up because unlike the pull-up you need a bar. The bar, I know that sounds like, for me and you, it's like, get a $37 door pull-up bar. It's too big of an ask. It's too big of an ask for 99% of people. But the push-up is just, it's one of those movements. If you commit to it, you can go from where I was, where I could barely do a push-up on the knee, and I just made this I made in my mind, in my deluded mind, the best push-up video ever to come on the internet. And unfortunately, only 1.7 thousand people have seen it on YouTube. But
really,
YouTube.com/BJ Gaddour. Watch the fucking video. It's a masterclass in push-ups, 5 levels of spice. Because I was like a hot chicken analogy.
No. I'll share it on my story too, because it is. I remember watching. It's like, what is El Diablo is like the hottest one.
Diablo is the hottest one.
Yeah.
Again, it's like 5 different single arm push-up variations. By the way, chest to fucking floor, and it's 66 because Athlete X only did 33, and he didn't do any single arm push-ups. I'm going chest to floor single arm push-ups.
Fucking hard, dude.
They're not easy.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm over 200 pounds, and I walk you from level 1, from on the knees all the way to single arm or handstand or all the plyo push-ups, Superman push-ups. I'm fucking 40 years old and I'm in the air doing a Superman push-up, and you know this. I shot all those in a single day before I then went to my member content, and for me it was like, wow, man, I started this journey when I was 14. I couldn't do a single fucking push-up, but and I got caught out of it pursuing the bench press. And the only thing I got with the bench press was shoulder pain, and it did stroke my ego. At the time, being able to push 400 pounds, that felt great.
I've never done that. It's so fucking heavy, bro.
But, I mean, I did 225 for 24 on our combine test.
Bro.
And, but again, like, you're bouncing off the chest, and I was so big. I was 275, and I couldn't do a pull-up.
I fucking cave in my chest.
Yeah, I mean, again, I pursued it. But again, I wish I would not have, because by 30, I would have been doing what I'm doing now.
And and it's more impressive, I would argue, especially now, like from the outside. Hey, I bench 300 pounds. Cool, no one gives a shit. But I can do every variation of this possible. And maybe people don't give a shit about that either. I go, but in terms of what is functional and what is dynamic and what you can do anywhere, anytime, and you can hold that set of skills way longer than the numbers on the bench press.
And you also said something really key too. At some point, you can't get your bench press heavier. For the rest of your life, you can improve your push-ups.
Yes.
You can improve the mobility of it, the stability of it, the stamina or endurance of it, the overall raw strength of it. Because again, part of the natural evolution of our bodies are going to change to adjust to our age, our lifestyle. And so I am lighter now. So push-ups actually have never felt better. And, so that's a whole part of the process too. But I've got a program in there too, man, where like, guaranteed to double your rep totals no matter where your reps are. And I also have like this undefeated plan to do your first ever rep. And it's this incredible eccentric training flow over the course of 9 weeks that literally, if you're on the knees right now, you will do your first perfect push-up in 9 weeks. Or if you have never done a single arm push-up, you follow this plan, you'll get a single arm push-up at the end of the 9 weeks. But I share that because we mentioned too, I think in the New Year podcast we did like 3 months back, like just pick a movement to start. Pick a movement and specialize and just get really good at that exercise and then add something else into it, because skill acquisition is tough, especially as you get old. You can't acquire too many skills at once. I'm not saying don't do rows or band pull-aparts in your push-up quest or hang on in the bar, but what I'm saying is it's a skill that you can take with you when you travel, when you vacation, and there's nothing cooler, man. Like, it's the most iconic exercise there is. Like, there's a reason why in those fucking Rocky training montages, by the way, I've got the Rocky 3 Italian Stallion training jacket.
It's a fresh jacket.
You can get it at Sly Stallone shop, by the way.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, that's where I got it.
I figured you did that. What's the other one where they make all the tank tops too?
Roots of Fight.
Yeah.
Great. Those are the only, like, besides my own gear, that's the only stuff I wear.
They make the best shit too.
They do. I mean, they really have, the icons and the legends and that type of thing. But, there's another example, right? What does the push-up do for you compared to the bench press? Push-up tells you everything you need to know about your spine, your shoulders, your wrists, and, well, my wrist hurt. Well, yeah, because you're not getting into a push-up position enough. You don't need to have wrist mobility when you bench press. In fact, that's why a lot of people go to bench pressing, because their fucking wrists are so stiff. But then they can't move their wrist.
Well, and if you're talking like, hey, like what is the most muscle activation and what is the best for me? Like, I'm not against if you want to bench press, it's super cool. But if you guys are in the dumbbell world and you want to do that, I'm like, having that almost like neutral grip when you guys come down is much more beneficial than this fixed overhand grip any day of the week. I go, that's it. I go, but you can create that too with push-ups in a lot of ways.
Yes.
A slight elevation for most people.
Oh, man, like people want to get a good chest workout.
It's almost like a fly and a push-up, depending on how you want to.
That's what the archer push-up is. And again, that's
crushes people, bro.
Oh, dude, like, but again, they don't know how to they go from this to that. No, you got to go to the uneven push-ups. Again, and it's what happened when I wrote my first book, Your Body is Your Barbell, which, by the way, like, I'm a lot fitter now and I move better now, but like, I really fucking crushed that book. It didn't. I was hoping it was gonna fucking it was gonna be my retirement plan.
Yeah.
But I was working for pennies at a dollar with Men's Health. But it really stood the test of time. And I just told you too, to write that book, I dedicated 3 years to bodyweight training. Did my first pistol squat, first single arm push up, and then I switched back to barbell lifting, and now
full circle.
Then I had to spend the last half of my 30s fixing everything again. So again, it's one of those things. You can call me a fucking idiot. You can call me what you want. I know better than you. Okay? I'm just telling you. I'm so much smarter at this stuff than you are if you're listening to this, but I've dedicated my life to it, and I've made all the mistakes. And you can keep deadlifting until your spine blows out, and it might just happen like Jeremy did when he was sitting there, but for a fact, it was those 600-pound deadlifts. Uncle Spine came to collect.
Well, because I remember, because you were doing, I'm trying to think, because I was in this, heavy-ass mode for a long time. I'm not a big person, but, man, we would put up fucking numbers. I remember when you deadlifted 500 pounds, I think, or maybe it was even over 500
And I saw
pounds.
and you came through and cold. I was like, oh, this motherfucker wants to compete with me.
Yeah.
I like that.
And I just remember, and I have videos on my phone, because my phone has everything from the fucking cloud, dude. So I can go back and look at shit where it's 550, all these, and I'm and I'm watching it and I'm just fuck, bro. And I can remember how it felt, and you don't feel it in your spine, obviously. But I remember just the tremble of your hamstrings,
oh man,
and I don't know how to describe it for people. When you've picked up really heavy shit, how your hamstrings are, and I would say it to Ben, because it'd always be, again, Ben is 6'9", fucking 280 pounds, bro. I'm not supposed to be doing shit that he's doing, and he shouldn't be doing this shit either. But I would look at him and I go, bro, I'm worried my hamstring is gonna pull out of my ass, not from bottom up, but from the top down. I'm this just seems and you would get so nervous. I would be nervous to step into the squat rack. Not that I was gonna die, right? But I'm this
is a fight or flight situation.
This is so heavy. If I don't concentrate, something bad is gonna happen, catastrophe. And for people listening, chase the goals you want to chase, but I don't think that's important for anyone. None of us are winning strongman competitions. You can look really good doing way smarter things. And even Dan John, right? You met Dan, I met Dan. The two things he does talk about. One, because I do pull-ups still a shit ton, but elbow pain is real. Tennis, golfers, inside, outside, depending on what you have. He's that'll happen. He goes, I think he calls it over 40 elbow sonars or some shit. But also, even for him, who's Mr. Deadlift essentially, he's if somebody doesn't feel good, don't do it. But how he has people hinge, right, is he goes, most people, and I've just listened to he had a podcast the other day, an inch above the knee or an inch below the knee with dumbbells, not a barbell from the floor. When you haven't properly warmed up and you have no idea what's going on inside your body.
And you do it on one leg because it doesn't take as much load, and you get more inner outer hip thigh activation. So, and you mentioned elbow pain with pull-ups. That's because people don't do any straight arm work. Honestly, man, I don't even, I've been doing so much straight arm scapular shrug work. I'm trying to build up to a front lever. And I'm dude, I'm getting the level of squeeze now. Because again, what I do is I use, the way I strength train now is I do the EHO. Every hour on the hour, I'm hitting something. Sometimes multiple things at once for at least a minute or two. Or I just breathe through it until I'm done. Or I do a lot of song training. I just hit a song. Put a song on, and I'll be on the bar in some manner until the song goes up. And I just do that throughout the day because I like that better than 20 to 30 minute plus sessions now. I just don't like those as much anymore. They don't do as much for me. And then when I do those, I have to do much more to offset that, tightness and but when I'm constantly doing shit throughout the day like a fucking dog, I feel good. I feel great, and I'm never sore, and I'm always ready to go. I can jump on the shit I used to have to do to get up on the fucking pull-up bar. I'd have to roll my lats. I'd have to fucking it would take me 10 to 20 minutes to get just to hang. But now, because of that repetition and I'm at the point now, it's the Kelly Starrett, the supple lever, right? You can go into a cold sprint. That's fitness.
Yep.
Right? If you have to do so much stuff just to move well, and I still do, and that's why I know I'm not ready to strength train again properly. So that's part of it too is, like you said, you got to know yourself. You got to listen to your body. But the elbow pain will go away if you start to train your elbows directly and smartly and intelligently, take your dumbbell work into the pool, okay? And then also just start doing a shit ton of straight arm work. You should be doing at least 2-to-1 straight arm work. And I mean by that, like, the elbow doesn't bend, and you're working on pulling exercises. And it's very easy on the joints. It's great for the shoulders. It's a way to bypass the elbow pain if you have it right now. And by the time you go back, or I should put it this way, the key to unlocking bent arm pull strength is straight arm pull strength. Because if you can do it with your arms straight, when you start bending the arms, bringing other fucking joints into the equation, you'll be so much stronger. All that is, by the way, it's an ab wheel, but on a pull-up bar. That's all it is.
Again, if you can't hang, just let your feet drag everybody.
Yeah, and I do. By the way, most of the work I do is self-assisted.
How long could you hang, you think?
So that's what's so funny too. I use the hang to determine how I feel on that day.
It's got to be pretty long.
I can go 2 to 3 minutes.
Okay.
Or I can go 15 seconds some days.
We just did it in our Sunday Metcon the other day. And like longest hang, we still do stupid shit, but usually it's like who can hang the longest now.
Yeah.
Or ride the assault bike for cows. Like, so we kill these guys in like what I would call like the old person way of killing people. Like, you can do a plate carry around the building, but you're just walking with a plate. And it's not, we can't, like, I'm willing to die with like rules. Like, if we're going to fight in the street, like, you could like kick me in the nuts or like, whatever, pull my teeth out. If you're in the octagon, there's rules. That's kind of the way I look at it. So we did hangs, and mine was like 240, whatever, until I just stopped doing it. And I realized, like, oh, fuck, dude, people are not good.
No, and by
people
the way,
are bad.
The key to hanging, and a big problem. So you want to fix some elbow pain with your pulls, you got to, first of all, it starts with the hand. And this is, by the way, this is a big part of why push-ups feed the pull-up too. If all you're doing is stuff with dumbbells and barbells, and you're always like this, if you're on the fucking camera here, you can see it. But your wrist is in your neutral position, and there's no bend, okay? And you're like this, and your hands are never like this. You get on the bar, and this is your hands like this on the bar. So you don't, like, if you look at a fucking monkey, they hook. And there is a completely smooth, basically it's like a panini. Their hand is completely evenly spread and over the bar. And by the way, take that thumb, get the fucking thumb out from under and over the top. Because all that thumb is going to do is going to make you want to drive through the elbow, and then that's where you're going to get the fucking pain.
Yep.
So I do that a ton. I basically just hook, and a lot of people too, when they do pull-ups too, they over grip. They think I have to squeeze the fucking bar. No, don't squeeze the bar.
Death gripping it.
Yeah, you death grip that bar. You are going to, like, this is where it starts to hurt in the elbow. And you just want to get to the point where it's such a smooth, relaxed grip. And by wrapping the thumb above and then just trying to hook and just basically cover the bar. And I do a ton of, by the way, you want to fast track your mobility, wide underhand grip. Ideally with a slight angle. That's just what my pull-up bar has, my door pull-up bar. And I do a shit ton of hangs and shrugs and like pseudo front levers. And then also I'll put the med ball to my legs again and just decompress and hang. And by the way, it's just breathing. You got to get into a flow state breath if you want to hang for a long period of time. Because like you say, you just get bored. You know what I mean?
And people panic.
You panic, and then your heart rate goes up, and then you just fatigue faster. So, but that's an example of, but you're going to go there and you're going to do your skull crushers with a fucking, you can go easy curl for a while, and then before you know it, it still hurts the elbow. But, you just take some light dumbbells and you just work on overhead tricep extensions. By the way, light. Grab a pair of 5-pound dumbbells. Can you get your arms fully overhead extended? And by the way, you got to film yourself, because I'm telling you right now, you think your arm is here and it's here. You know this. You filmed the MetaShred Extreme DVD, and I know you thought your arm was overhead, but dude, it was here.
Yeah.
All right, and that's what people. That's the thing is people. There's no honesty with themselves about their movements, and all you do is you just work slowly, 5 seconds down, and if that dumbbell can't touch your upper back without this coming forward or without you feeling elbow pain with a pair of 2.5 or 5 pound dumbbells, there's no other tricep exercise you should be working on right now, because what is this doing? It's working that particular joint at end range at extreme joint length. So this stuff serves you no purpose until you can do this stuff light. And we could go on and on about stuff like this, but that's the difference between moving weight and moving well. And I wanted to move weight, and it felt great, and I thought it was great, and I wasn't, because now I'm 40, and now I've got to do all these things to offset some of that stuff. But again, the good news is the body, you can heal the body. I mean, the amount of healing I've done to my joints And by the way, the inversion table by the way, you got to get this inversion table because, I mean, it's completely. When people ask me like, what should I do? I want to get fit. Get an inversion table. Start there. What's the first piece of equipment I recommend getting? Invest in your fucking spinal health.
And walk.
And by the way, I do it after I walk because walking's great, but it tightens you up. And if you have, like all of us do, any sort of asymmetry, like there's a little less mobility in your ankle or hip on one side of the body, and you walk 5,000 to 10,000 steps, every step shoots that pelvis out of alignment. What is your lower lumbar spine attached to?
Your pelvis.
Your pelvis. So if this is tilted, it's turned, it's extended, it's flexed, it's out of position, your fucking lower back has no fucking chance with your body weight. Nonetheless, barbell type of training. So a lot of people will say, oh, this is obsessive, this is perfectionism. Well, I am a perfectionist. And I'm proud of that because the reason I am so fit today is because for 20 years, I've filmed every one of my fucking movements. I watch them and I'm disgusted and I got to keep improving them. And the film doesn't lie. And that's actually the one thing, like if you're looking to really improve your fitness, this is athletics. This is sport. Who fucking excels on the court and the field? The people that study film. People that study film.
Well, and if you, obviously, like we get to see it all the time, and if you ever get the chance, like if you go in somewhere and you get tissue work done or you go do your patterns in front of somebody who can watch you because they'll be able to see it in 2 seconds. Okay, dude, here's why you push forward. Your ankle mobility sucks shit. Or just, yeah, you are going to butt wink a couple inches when you go this slow. Maybe you don't need to chase certain ranges of motions on certain things or do certain patterns in a certain way. But it takes a level of it's humbling, right? Like when you get injured, you're just humbled instantly. Like I had Colleen talk about that, like she tears her ACL, right? And then she's not going to be on the bobsled team, so she's not going to be an Olympian. That does change her life in a way. And she's cool with it. And she's like, well, did I have to lift that day? She's like, no. But she's like, that's what got me here. So where do I draw the line in what I do? Now that's someone who's like a freak. You're a freak. We all have something happened to us all traumatically as young kids, and this is why the fuck we are all fucked up the way that we are.
Yeah, we had to find an identity, and we found it in this,
yeah.
And we can't fucking stop.
Because I wonder
obsessing over the identity.
Because she seems so nice. I wonder what hers is. Like, there's certain people I meet. I'm like, God, you're so like nice. Like I'm like nice, right? But like you can tell there's something fucking wrong with me. And like you, this is clear as day. You know, so it's like these other right people. I'm like, what? God, whatever happened to Lindsay in her childhood that she's such a fucking murderer? Like I wonder. I go, but like we go through these things and it's us accepting like, hey man, we can do it differently. Like we don't have to do it, you know, this way, and we can kind of, I don't know, think it through, and we can get there where a normal person has to reverse engineer so much wrong shit over time. Like when I use Kelly's app, like when I go on and take the mobility test, like some of them, like it'll do different body parts, right? Like, so, hey, shoulders, 76%, your core is like 100%, your hips are like, 58%, your ankles are like whatever. So then they give you a prescription like anything, but we can go through and do that. And we know enough already, and then we can, but the average person doesn't want to hear that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like the average gym goer, when you go into EOS or Planet Fitness or Lifetime, hey, dude, you're doing all this shit wrong, under load, and it's kind of making you like better in an area a little bit, but ultimately it's just reinforcing shitty habits and behaviors that are just going to cause problems down the line. But it's really hard. And again, this is an industry problem or a profession problem in general. You're trying to sell people things that are not sexy now.
Yeah.
That they don't think are sexy, and like, oh, I don't need to do this. And it's like, and I've shared the story in here 1,000 times. Every fourth Friday, years ago, like Boot Camp Automator, we would do like a mobility Friday where I would take the diagnostic checklist. I think I got it from you probably, of like how to foam roll, how to go. And I'd have a group of 24 people go to 3 people, and they would tell me they don't need to do it. And I'm like, I'm watching you guys every fucking day. You all need to do this. But it's now the buying is a little bit better. Like we're becoming smarter, but it's still a really hard sell, man. Because people think they got to just come in. I ate like shit. I drank like shit. I got to beat the fuck out of myself. And if I'm doing these things, like the other day we had people do the frog rockers, the internal rotations, push the knees out, just basically doing abductor flosses for 50 reps. People are dead. And the amount of pain on some people's faces, I'm like, bro, we should do this every day. But if we come in and only do this every day, then we don't have time to do all the work, and that's what people want to do. And so it's like, I don't know how you draw the line or how you squeeze it into them, because you're in a tough spot. Because you want people to work hard and train hard, but they're not ready to do that, a lot of people.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, at some point, unfortunately, people have to they have to break.
Yeah.
Like,
welcome to the club.
You got to break, and, we're the fucking old heads talking to these fucking young idiots, and just like the old heads were talking to us 20 years ago. But the reality is, unfortunately, I think they're pursuing the wrong thing. You want to move well. You want to be out of pain. If you are in pain, you will not have a fun life. You will not want to do activities. And then what's going to end up happening is you end up getting in this. Once you get stuck in this cycle, you can't get out of it. Where it's a damaging thing. It's a masochism. It's almost a sadistic thing. It's a punishment. It's fueled by a lot of guilt and anxiety. But I'm just telling you right now, like, as someone who hasn't used weights heavier than 25-pound dumbbells in over a year or two, and if I walk into any room at this age, and I'm not just this age, by the way, age period, I've got more muscle mass than anyone I go into a room with.
You don't look normal.
Okay.
Like when I go into the lobby, you just don't look normal.
Well, that's also because I've got there's a lot of different things going on.
But you don't though. Like when you see, you know what I'm saying? Like when you see, like, here's an example. Like I remember being at Whole Foods and like Carson Palmer's like ahead of me, and he was a quarterback for the Cardinals.
Yeah, on TV you would think, oh, this is just a dude.
But like, I didn't. And first of all, I'm not like searching him out. I don't see him. I'm behind him. I'm like, this dude ain't normal. And then he turns his head. I'm like, oh, you're an NFL quarterback. You're 6'6". You're 245 pounds. But just how he's built, his shoulders, his back. When you see him, you're not like, oh, he's Ray fucking Lewis. You don't look at him as like a specimen, but he don't look normal. And neither do you. But again, you've put in the reps. You don't have to do all these things. And most people don't. Like, their goal isn't going to be 40, hey, I'm going to put on 30 pounds of tissue. That's not it. Now, if you can do things, if you have all the skills, you've acquired them, and you can do things pain-free, sure. But that's the mistake that I made for a long time, too, is like I remember just like keying into work and being like, God, man, my body feels like, not just my body, but like, it's like someone took my life energy, like, out of me. And I'm like, and what am I going to do? I'm going to work all these hours, and then I'm going to train. And I'm going to train like I train. So I'm going to beat the shit out of myself. And it took me a long, long time, everybody, to detach my mind from that. Like, you can come in here and not die, bro, and still get a really great workout. In fact, that's probably the best thing you did all week. But that was never the mentality. It was, I had to beat the shit out of myself. And again, don't get me wrong. The term, like, I don't want to use the term like pain, like you're an injury, but you can get that. Like, it's easier for me to do split squats with 80-pound dumbbells in each hand for a couple of reps than it is to do 25 body weight slow ass split squats. That pain, and I don't mean pain in terms of hurt, but that burn, that intensity is fucking grueling. And that's probably better for me overall, but that is harder. And so what I'm saying is, you can chase load if you want to, but you can also get there doing things way differently, way better.
Yeah, I mean, look, the best I've ever felt in my life is actually today. And I'm gonna, God willing, I'll feel even better tomorrow, because the big shift I've made in my training is that I finally realized that the best training is the type of stuff that you do and you feel no effects. There's no residual effects of it. Like, again, you don't want to be sore. Being sore, it's a problem.
But bro, you used to be like chronically sore.
No, all the time. Like all the time.
Think about you would like lit your ass or your hamstrings or your chest when you just touch your fingers to it, like, oh my God.
I was constantly just tearing up. Again, like, think about you're tearing up your fibers. Now, that's a lot of stress. You're basically dropping bombs all over your muscles.
So you got in a car accident every day.
Yeah, exactly.
Basically.
I'll give this analogy too, right? Like, part of the reason I'm done with videographers now is because I had to basically do a full day shoot once a month. And those listening, it doesn't sound like a big deal, but and sometimes I have to do back-to-back shoots, full day. You go nonstop. Like, we'll get 500 clips. And I got to do the movements flawlessly. And again, we want to look a certain way and all this stuff. Next day, man, I've never, like, that's the only thing I have close to what it felt like the day after playing football. Where, like, no, I'm physically compromised. I won't be the same person for 3 or 5 days. And that sets up this cycle, just like working out, right? This filming. You're like, I don't give a fuck. I'm not a content creator, but I'm sharing this with you because it's the exact same thing that people do in the gym. They fucking drop Hiroshima on their body, and they do it with big intervals in between. And what that made me want to do is not film because, like, I'm just like the next day, bro. Like, I can't do anything. And for me, I got to be in a situation where I film less content, especially at this age. Like, I only want to do an hour or two at a time. And also, that's about all I can get on my wife too. Before, like, this is suffering,
bro.
You know, like, to have to hold this fucking camera.
I don't want to talk about this on here, but I'm going to just because we're here. And I'm like, bless my wife's heart, man. Like, we've talked about this before. Like, they reap all the benefits, obviously, but like, and I know most people who are listening don't care about this part, but like, do you ever just like, you're filming videos and you're like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, in like a funny way, like I'm thankful and we're both very blessed to be able to do this for a living and make the money we make and do all the things. But like, one of my teammates now lives like relatively close to me in Scottsdale. He has 3 kids. Like, he's got 3 kids. He's living this family life. I'm filming fucking shirtless videos in BJ's little tiny shorts, like with fucking Rick Ross playing in the background. I'm like, oh, what a fuck. I'm like, I'm very humbled, but I'm like, sometimes I'm just filming shit. I'm like, how much more exercise can I make up, bro? Like, and again, I'm not complaining, but it's like, I've filmed so much shit. Like, we have created so many programs. Like, how much more do people need for in that type of stuff? Like, I don't think any more.
I don't know. Honestly, I don't even know where this goes. I have no idea where this goes.
Neither do I. When people are always like, Jeremy, like these young kids. Again, I'm more accessible than you. Like, I'm.
Oh yeah, no, I am what they would call inaccessible.
Yeah, I'm much. For anybody listening who thinks like, well, Jeremy doesn't talk a lot, I go, bro, you have no fucking idea what you could be dealing with here. I go, so I am accessible. So I'll answer questions and people will ask stuff at the podcast, and it's very humbling that they come to Scottsdale, want to meet us and take pictures with us. I'm very thankful. All of you guys are fucking amazing. Keep coming. It keeps me fresh. Keeps me like. I guess it makes me feel like this fucking matters. Otherwise, I probably would lose my fucking mind. But it's like, the more I do this, I'm losing my. What was I going to say?
You're basically, and I agree. I think your gym community gives you an edge with what you do that other people online just don't have. They don't have this edge because you still are connected to people in some way.
But it's like, I don't know where it goes because these guys. That's what I was going to say. These guys will come in and they'll say, Jeremy, it's so awesome. You found your calling and your passion, what you want to do. And I'm like, albeit, yeah, I get to wear BJ's clothes to work and we can play 80s rock, or I can play fucking Tupac and watch John Wick on the TV, and like, we do fitness and people pay money to come there. Like, it's insane. Like, that's where I work, and my office is a fucking shit show of like 80s nostalgia. Everything in my world is fake, and I've created this fake environment, but I don't know what the fuck I'm going to do in 5 years or 10 years. I have no idea where the train goes.
Yeah.
I'm trying to help people the best I know how and the best I can through like all of the mediums, but I by no means have it figured out. Like, I literally for a long time thought I was, David Dunn or Bruce Willis from Unbreakable. Like, I thought if the train crashed, bro, everyone would be dead and I'd walk out and be like, I'm cool. And obviously I'm older now and like, I can get hurt sitting in an office chair. So clearly that's not the case. Well, and I don't know where any of it goes. So I'm just trying to, as I evolve, like, hopefully the stuff I can give and create will evolve too with people. And I'm not saying don't go crush yourself. I go, but crush yourself in a smart way, in a safe way for you, and understand if you have the skills or not. Like, Heather would be like, hey, come snowboarding with me. I'm not good, bro. Like, that's rich white people shit. Like, I'm white, but I didn't grow up with money, so I was broke as fuck. We didn't go snowboarding. And also, it's Minnesota. It's like a bunny hill, dude. Like, I didn't get to do that. And she has a set of skills in that where she goes down a mountain and it's like seamless and you're like watching a video. Me, I'm strapped to this board being like, don't fucking die, dude. And I'm snow plowing my way down. It's no different than someone who's never played basketball. They can't go in and seamlessly just play. Like, and that's how I look at the gym. Like, me snowboarding is a lot of people in the gym. You don't have the skills yet to play with everything freely. You have to really kind of regress things and learn before you can kind of just go nuts with it.
Yeah, I mean, look, let me ask you this question. How long do you see yourself answering people's questions? Because that's where, like, for me, and a lot of it is personality based. Like, I'm extremely introverted. Though, again, if I'm in a public setting and I'm well rested and fed, and I know I can go somewhere in 3 hours to get away from this, I'm great. But for me, if I have to answer people's questions or interact with people, I hate what I do and I start to resent them. And then it also becomes a situation that bleeds into people I actually care about, family and stuff like that. So, and we were just talking about this too. Like, why do you have to know anything about me? Like I mentioned to you too, like I want to be, I'm just going into this Walter White. There's a certain phase of Walter White's career, not the end, not the final season, but like that block of time right after he kills Gus Fring. Spoiler alert, where he's just cooking the fucking purest meth in the game, no customer interaction, but it's the best product out there.
Just prime at his craft.
Yeah, just that's all I want to be. I don't want you to know anything about me. I don't want to interact with you. I don't even want to know like if it's going well, because frankly, I know it's going well. The product is pure. I've been doing this a long time. Keep it yourself, okay? I hope it helps you, but at the end of the day, I don't know you will never meet. I hope to keep it that way. And the biggest favor you could do me, because again, like, have you ever like seen someone you've recognized before and gone up to them and introduced yourself? Like, I'm not saying like it's a fitness event, okay, and you're going to network, but like I'm saying, you're at fucking Whole Foods and LeBron James walks by. I would never approach him because I respect people's privacy. And by the way, I think this is the problem we have right now. Everyone feels compelled to share everything, their opinion. Like we all got caught in that a couple of years ago with a lot of things that happened. Can't we just go back to the days where it's like, this is you're a trainer, you share fitness information, and you don't need to know anything fucking else about me.
See, like there's probably, I had this conversation the other day with somebody, like if I saw like, I would be scared because Jordan is so mean, but I would almost be like, hey Mike, can you just like take a picture with me? But I don't think I would because I know he's mean. But there'd be like, maybe if I saw like Denzel or something, I'd be like, fuck dude.
Let me ask you this.
Denzel, bro.
What do you think Michael Jordan thinks about you coming up to him? Like, what do you think? Like, that's how I look at it.
Hates it.
What does he think about you though? He thinks you're a fucking plebeian.
Yeah.
like you're. Why would you? Because he knows I'm just a fucking dude. I poop too.
Yeah.
Okay. I missed a lot of shots. I took a lot of shots, but I missed a lot of shots.
Well, that's what I tell people. They're all like, it's weird because I had a guy, and I'm not going to say his name. He worked for the UFC for a long time, and he's like, all your biggest heroes, bro. Like all the like assholes, dude. Like all the people that you like think are awesome, right? Like the Connors, the Brocks, whatever. He's like, they're just dicks, bro. And this is his words, not mine. Like I've never met these people.
Well,
but
maybe specifically to people they don't know. I'm sure they're good to the people they care about.
100%.
Yeah.
But again, they're getting it at a clip that I could not even imagine what it's like. Like if you're Michael Phelps, bro, how the fuck do you walk around Scottsdale at all? Like that's where he lives.
Oh, really?
Yeah. How does he go to Safeway? How could he ever? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's when you watch, like, and not to get off topic, but like when you watch The Last Dance, like Jordan had that in 96 or 92 when there's no social media, like nothing. So yeah, it'd be tough. I like for me, it keeps me normal when people come in. I go, but it's we also lock the door when people are gone. So no, because random people do just show up, which is tough and it's different. So like, but I'm willing to do that part of it. We like when we do fitness, there's a huge community part of it. I go, but to your point, it is exhausting, but that's what we do. Like when I'm done, it's when I can't do that anymore. Like whenever that takes too much from me, if that makes sense. And again, I've had points where, and most people in fitness probably feel this too, whether you train people in person or you do it online, or you're just really good at your job. Maybe you're a fucking surgeon or you're an attorney or you're an accountant. You've given your job everything. And I think Steve Schembaum talked about this at a conference where it was like a level of 7. You give your work 7 and you go home and you're a 1. You can't do that.
No.
The problem is when you're someone like, when you are a killer, like you're a gamer, like you are, I am, Rigsby, Matt Sizemore. There's so many guys who aren't even in fitness and who are that. I don't know how they can give anything at home because I've come home and been a bag of shit in social settings, birthday parties, you name it, because I'm just done. And I'm like, but if I don't do that, did I get to be here? You know what I'm saying? So like, that's how I always looked at it. Well, if I don't give this everything, maybe I am fucking Ricky who trains at LA Fitness, and I just fucking.
Well, the thing is, you just can't get there as fast. But that's the whole thing. Are you going to play the long game with this? And that's the part I keep forgetting is that, it's okay to grow slowly. It's okay also sometimes to not grow at all. And that's been really tough for me, man, because I have a growth mindset.
But when you say grow, it's like whether that's numbers or money or whatever, but then there's growth in this other way.
That's the other aspect of it, right? Like there's a lot of things I just realized too, like I am doing the minimum. Like I'll keep doing social media as long as I have a business, but I'm literally just dropping. I will not reply to any comments. You can say whatever the fuck you want. I might delete some comments if it's just stupidity.
I do a lot of deleting lately.
Yeah, just like because I'm like, oh, I can't. This is so dumb. I can't leave this here.
Yeah.
Because like this is going to impact people negatively mentally because you're so fucking stupid.
Yeah.
But okay, say what you want to say. I don't give a fuck. And honestly, I don't because there's no joy. There's no joy in it. And I'm just gonna spend time on my house. I'm painting. I'm gardening. Whatever. It's just. That's been tough for me though because for me, growth mindset is like you got to have more people to market to. You got to be making more money constantly, all that stuff. And the reality is, I'm doing pretty well at 40. I've got 2 different properties I own and peak. Like I've obviously got a place here in Palm Springs that in 5 or 10 years is going to be so fucking valuable. Like we can just fucking, and by the way, we can do the work. We can paint. We can do a lot of the landscaping ourselves. That would be part of my working out because it's labor, bro. Like honestly, like if I could be a millionaire landscaping, I would. Because one of my favorite jobs was summers.
I used to lay sod in college.
Dude, man, we'd mow, we'd weed whack, we'd have the fucking golf cart, and at the end of the day, I'd go lift. Now I would just finish the work and I'd go home and stretch.
Yeah.
There's be no lifting on my landscaping days at this age, but that good hard work and labor, like being outside, because the work I do is just, it's not, no matter, I don't care what people say about it. It's not rewarding to me. It's just not rewarding. And it's not fun, but I just do it at a high enough level. And the product is so pure that I'm going to keep doing it as long as I need to do it. But what I'm getting at is, like, why are we wasting this time? Like, and that's the thing is you can make more money interacting with people, and the more you share, the more they connect, and the more they engage. And the reality is, my audience in particular, they don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck. Like they just don't care. And the moment I stop providing the pure product, then they really don't give a fuck. But all that other stuff, the only people that come on to that are people that they're looking for friendship, they're looking for connection. And they're not really looking for fitness. That's been my experience. And it's like, well, this is the exact opposite. I'm not looking for connection. I've got a beautiful wife. I've got a beautiful dog. I got some of the best workouts I've had lately, fucking tug of war with my dog. Dude, it's battling ropes. And we go for 20 to 30 minutes, and I'll get on one leg with one arm. Like, we're doing fucking contralateral pulls and reaches and circles, internal, like, it's savant level shit. But I guess what I'm getting at is, like, how long? How long? I know there's probably a dollar amount. There's probably
No, for me, it's not even that. It's like if I don't have fun doing it, I can't do it, right? And like you're different, and I always tell people this. I'm like, when the camera goes on, like you're so much better. Like it's just what you do versus what I do is different, right? But like you're so good. Like when Men's Health turns the camera on, I'm like, bro, like this dude's fucking good. Like this is like a fucking actor. Like it's a show. Like you're
see that's the truth though, because it is a performance.
Yeah, and you are fucking great at that. Like you can show everything, but that's just your skill. You can make complex things seem simple. You can break it down. It's funny, inappropriate, if you will. For most people, I go, but it's fucking great TV to watch and go through and do. And I always tell people, I go, he is way better at that because that's not my personality type and that's not what I do. I go, however, I can come here and be around people in the doses I can be around them every day. I go, he can't do that. I go, that would take everything from you.
Oh no, dude, I would be.
But you're great for like, if, hey, BJ, can you come to this event and do this? And if you really get up for it, you're the best person at the event. The problem is now you're at fucking zero for the rest of the week. You know what I'm saying?
The juice is not worth the squeeze for me. And that's a big part of.
But thank God we grew up in the internet era, bro.
No, and that's been key. That's really been key because I don't know how. When I got this gym membership, I was like, oh my God, how do you make it? this guy, he goes like, he's looking at me and I'm looking at him and I'm like, I got a window here. Like I got to get this in before dinner. And I got to go fucking home and make dinner. I just want to sign up. And he asked me, what are your goals? I'm like, sorry, man. Like, don't take this the wrong way. Like, I just want to get the membership. I got to get into this workout quick. And he's like, well, he's asking me more. He's going through his script. I get it. You got a job, but like, I'm just trying to fucking give you my money quick right now so I can get on the fucking Stairmaster and go to the sauna. And I accidentally said like, oh, I'm involved in fitness. And then he goes and tells his manager, and his manager, this fucking goon, comes out and he's looking at me like, I don't know whether he's looking at me like, he's like 6'4", just this big dude, not much going on besides just being big.
Yeah.
But he's got his fucking, it says, what does it say? Staff. It says coach on the back of his shirt.
I like him already.
You like him already.
I might actually get those for our team.
You should.
Coach.
And he's looking at me and he's like, so he said you were involved in fitness. And like, I'm like, are you coming at me like in the sense like this is competition? I'm like a spy. I'm like, no. I'm like, oh, I'm actually not. I just like, it was just so disturbing to me because it's like, there's no way like any of these people are going to make any money and have any joy in this profession.
In that setting?
In that setting?
No, bro.
There's like 8 of these fucking people with coaches. Nobody needs the training, by the way. And by the way, it's so funny about the gym now. It's like, I'll give Brett Contreras his fucking flowers. He won. Every fucking woman and every fucking gym is doing glute guy shit. They're all hip thrusting. They're all doing the abductor, adductor, and that's all they do. Hip hinges. They literally dedicate their life to their ass. And you know that's something that you could say he won, but we've lost. You're going to go into the fucking gym in this short ass life that we lead, and you're going to spend an hour on your ass. And by the way, you're not going to change your ass. Okay? Like if you want an ass, you got to be a Puerto Rican. That's why I married one, okay? It's baked in. You might be able to lift it, okay? All it's going to do is get tighter, just like our fucking calves. And you're going to dedicate your life to it. And it just, I don't know. I wonder sometimes, are we doing any good? Are we just wasting our time and their time? Sorry. And I do talk louder enough that they could probably still hear. But
I know.
I don't know. So, and then, by the way, this is the unfortunate thing, and this is what is tough about getting old, is that you do lose motivation. You're just going to become, I'm already a natural misanthrope, and I'm just going to become more of that. You just become, in a lot of ways, a truer version of who you already are. And that can be a good thing, can be a bad thing. And you got to be mindful of it because, you don't want to become, if you're someone like me, you can become like so cynical and hateful and negative that like you literally are fucking Clint Eastwood and Gran Torino. All right. And I don't want to go that route. At the same time too, I know the only way I can't go that route, the only way I cannot go that route is if I completely eliminate 99.99% of human interaction from my daily docket.
It's crazy because like people, they'll watch you on the videos and stuff and they'll see it. And I always would tell people, I go, bro, he's a way bigger introvert than even I am. And people never believe me because they get to interact with me like on a daily basis and they like see me and they just see you like on video. I go, yeah, but that's a production, bro. Like that he's doing a job. That's not like his normal life.
How do you feel when people tell you they feel like they know you?
If I'm honest?
Yeah.
Like I'm super humbled. And I think it's really nice, creeps me out because, and again, everybody, I'm super thankful, but people will like bring me like paintings of my dog that have never met me before. And people will bring like 86,400 signs to our gym and that they've made me that have never met me before. There's women, their husbands bought them tickets, 2 women to fly to meet us and like they give me a hug and like meet Heather and stuff. And that's like, I get it in some weird kind of way. But we've given them so much, bro. Like we've given them everything. The women, it doesn't creep me out as much as the dudes, for sure.
Yeah.
And I feel like you would have to like murder me in the building for me to be scared. So I really am not like nervous. Although I do lock the door a ton. It's just a weird because like I am accessible in a way where you guys are not anymore. But it also it does keep me like kind of normal. Like, especially in this, because you do get something back from it. And albeit it is draining as fuck at times, but you get to see people and like what fitness does for them. Like not the sets and reps and shit, but like the community aspect of it. Like when they can work out with their friends and do different things. And like that part of it's cool. So like whenever that, and I joke with we have a group at 6 a.m. It's probably our biggest group of like savages, the people who really, I mean, they're up early, they come in, they fucking work. And a lot of these guys have been there for 10 years. And bro, I'll sometimes like start talking. They don't even give a fuck, dude. Like they're talking all to each other. And I'm just like saying words. Like it's just words out of an angry scientist, like making no fucking sense. And I'm like, all right, split squats here. We're going to go TRX face pulls here. And like no one gives a fuck. And I'm like, you guys, I don't have anywhere to be, so you can ignore me and I can just talk about it. I already know all the exercises. And I'm like, so if you don't give a fuck, like we can just get going. And they do it like kind of jokingly because we've already trained them. And so they basically already know, but that's where I'm like, and I joke with them like, you guys, one day I'm just going to start talking and no one's going to listen to me. And I'm just going to hit the timer and I'm just going to walk out. And I'm just going to get in my fucking truck and I'm just going to drive home. I'll leave all the lights on and all the shit on. I'm like, and that's just it. And I'm fucking just done, and that's not really how it will end, but it's like, I don't know. It's like it's like if you've been in fitness for longer than 10 years, I give you credit, man. Because the failure rate of the industry is so high, not only as a practitioner, but also as people not making changes. And I try to be, because it's given me so much and I know what it does give to other people, but yeah, dude, there just comes a point, I think like with anything, you're just like, fuck, dude. It's like when people tell me like the app, like they thought this, we've charged for one program, like the entire time we've had it. Everything else is free inside there for pennies. And one guy was like, oh man, I thought the 47-day, which I fucking died for, bro. And I can't like resell it. If you own it, you own it and you have it for life. Like that thing is worth $1,000, not $100. That's what we sold it for in there. And the guy's like, yeah, man, I feel ripped off because I thought every program in here would be free. I go, it's $15 a month, bro. You use the term ripped off. Like, what do you think my life's work is worth? $7 a month? $6 a month? And again, that's one comment of like 1,000. So I always go like the Amazon. When you order like your inversion table, 38,000 positive reviews, 400 people said it sucked. Well, fuck those 400 people. My mind doesn't work that way. I don't operate and be like, well, that one negative guy's right. I'm like, oh, fuck you, bro. I'm awesome. And I just kind of keep it moving, But it's tough to do because you want to help people actually make the changes and do the things, but you're stacked up against, in this industry, so many variables. Their job, the economy, traffic, their kids, genetics, drinking habits, eating habits, everything. Your job is impossible. Like if you're a young coach listening, you're talking to a 46-year-old guy who's making $300K a year, who works 87 hours a week, and he has 47 problems. And him tracking macros is like number 48 on the list. Even though it's not, that's where it is on the list of importance for him. And you're trying to combat all that, all the shitty travel, all the shitty sitting, all the shitty eating, all the shitty drinking. And you're like, well, fuck, dude, I have you for 90 minutes a week. Or best case scenario, I have you following an app, which I can't even see you. And I pray to God you fucking do the mobility. It's like you realize you have to you're going to change people who are committed to changing. And you're not changing them. You're just the vehicle that they found, and you've given them the tools, and they actually took them out of the toolbox and put them together. But that's the tough part, because you're just fighting this uphill battle, and I think it gets harder because we're only getting busier. Like we're taking on more stuff. Like and everything is just constant 24/7, where to really be fit, in my opinion, you have to create an ecosystem of your life that protects you from all the shit. Like when people tell me like, well, Jeremy, you can still do this. I'm like, bro, I have zero debts. I live with an amazing wife. My dog is awesome. I have really fucking great friends. I live in one of the most beautiful places ever. I drive to a building with my fucking name on it, and I can wear what I want, do what I want, say what I want, when I want, and I have to do nothing for money, and I never have to go anywhere for anybody if I don't want to. That's how I can be fit. If you can't do half that, it's like, fuck, dude. It's just hard, man. And you realize that the older you get, it's like, I have empathy for people who are like living in pain and feel like shit because it sucks, dude. But on the same note, I feel bad, but after like obviously me doing mobility for 30 minutes every day and doing all these appointments and shit, I'm like, you got to fucking try, bro. Like you got to really fucking try to be fit because nobody is. And to me, that's a greater currency than just being rich. There's way more. How many millionaires are there in America? Like 15 million millionaires in America? Super cool, dude. There's not 15 million super fit people in America. That to me is the currency you should be chasing. Can I move good? Can I feel good? Can I do the things? And we are trying to do that, but bro, it's like the Titanic is sinking and you got to fucking cup and you're trying to scoop water out as the band plays.
Everything. Yeah. There's not
to be depressing everybody, but from a doing this, like this is our life. Like we spent our life doing this, our adult life, and we want. And you've helped a fuck ton of people, bro. There's people who message me like, "Oh, I found you through BJ Gaddour and fucking whenever it was," which is crazy. So you've reached millions of people have watched you do burpees. As crazy as that is, right? Millions of people on planet Earth have watched you do fucking like full-on burpee videos, which is nuts. So you've made a change. It's just how much has to go into it for people to do it. Their lifestyle has to be overhauled. And I think if I have a skill, I'm better at painting that picture in a super dumbed down sense for people. But can they actually do it day in and day out? Can they do it for a 40-day challenge? Sure. But bro, you guys got to get those steps in, and you got to drink water, and you got to sleep good, and you got to do mobility every fucking day. So it's really what I'm selling is a 25-year program. It's just in shorter increments.
Yeah, and that's where, because I look at it, and you've had your app for it's almost a year coming on soon.
It'll be a year in May.
So I've had dailybj.com. We're coming on the 6th year in June, and it's just it's just one of those things where, and we always improve it. I mean, it started as
the stuff you put out, dude, is so good. The fucking emails you send out are so good.
I appreciate it, man. But the reality is, I'm at the point where this is the tough part of a career where I'm no longer seeing, like, if I see a return on the effort, I'll keep putting more and more effort. But I'm at the point now, we were talking about this before we started, where I think I'm just trying too hard. And that's a tough position to be in, because you never want to, leave anything on the training floor, right? You want to empty the tank, do the best you can. But the reality is, all it does is zap my energy and make me less excited about what I do, because no love comes back. There's a point where after a certain amount of work for me, I notice no improvement. And so I guess what I'm trying to say is, it's difficult to figure out. It's difficult to figure out how to align the motivation piece,
because what you think is cool now is not the same anymore.
Well, also there's
people used to tell you like, "Hey man, you're super shredded." That was fucking cool, dude, when you were 28.
Yeah, no.
And now you're like, "Yeah, bro, I get it." You know what I'm saying? Like I wear this everywhere I go. I don't work out like Instagram, right? But I think people sometimes come to the gym and think that.
Yeah.
No one who's ever been there has ever seen me shirtless, other than like Heather and our camera crew. It's just not what I do. Even when I'm by myself, that's not how I train. It's not like we're in a business park. In the back alley on the weekend, I'll like push that sled with like my shirt off to get a tan. I don't do that during the week. Well, because I don't want the dudes next to me to talk shit to me. Well, they wouldn't anyway, but they'd be like, "Bro, Jeremy, dude, come on." But I used to think that was so cool. Like, oh man, like this magazine's going to put me on the cover, and like this person's going to, and that was super cool. And I'm very thankful, and I wouldn't be here, and most people wouldn't know me without that stuff. But now it's like, okay, that's not what fuels me to keep doing it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no. And that's
the hard part.
That's the hard part, because it is all internal motivation at this point. And that if you're listening to, you've got to time it properly. Like you hope to be lucky enough that your motivation hits with some luck and you can ride that wave. But if you end up on the part of the curve where I am, where I can't get motivated by any of it anymore, and the only thing that motivates me, just to be honest, it's money. That's all I have to worry about now. I don't care what you think about me. I don't care where my name or face is seen. None of that does anything for me anymore. And in fact, I wish, in a lot of ways, my dream way of making money would be anonymous.
I've always said that, bro, because we got some super rich dudes who like they don't even have social media and anything.
That's the dream, man.
Like,
that is the fucking dream.
I used to always be like, man, Brett did it right, because like he didn't even exist on the internet, but he is rich as fuck. I'm like, everybody knows me at Sprouts, and I don't have any money. This is bullshit. Like that's what I used to say to Monica. I'm like, I did this backwards, bro.
Exactly.
I go, why did I call this Jeremy's Got Fitness? I'm an idiot. But it's what got us to this. You built. Sure. It's crazy that's even a real thing. Like, and these are all luxury problems too. Like,
oh, absolutely.
Every problem you have, in fact, fitness people listening, like BJ has the biggest luxury problems of all time.
I do.
You've created this whole world around just you doing exercise.
Yeah, and I don't even have to talk to them, and they'll still pay because
isn't that crazy?
They know
it's so good.
They know if I'm going to put it out there, it's going to be the best I can do in that fucking moment.
Yep.
And but the problem is, it's a business and brand I built through quote unquote my personality. And I'm just being honest, I don't even know what my personality is anymore. I don't know what it is anymore, and that's part of what I've noticed with 42 is, like I used to be really funny, and I don't have the energy to be funny anymore. I'm doing like some stuff. Like this morning was actually one of the rare moments where I was actually like, I can't remember the last time I was like, oh, let's get this filming done. Because I was excited to see you. I knew we were going to talk, have a good conversation, talk shop, whatever, have a good meal. And I only had to just film one quick workout quick. It wasn't like 9 routines I had to get done. And there was some good energy there, but like that was rare. It's just rare now. And that's the part of it that's tough is that, wah. But that's, I used to love to like think of something that would make people laugh. I don't give a fuck. And that's what's scary to me because that is how I built this fucking brand. There's a lot of people doing exercises. There's a lot of people fit. And then there's just the contrasting effect of, what has impact versus what makes money. And at this age, man, like we only have we've got about 10 to 20 years of the ability to make a lot of money and a natural life cycle. And it's all that's important now. We don't have a lot of energy. And we got to use all that energy to keep this thing going. So it's an interesting time. And,
well, that's why for fitness people, I'll wrap this up in a little bit because I'm at the pee and I'm getting hungry too.
I'm fucking starving.
The ones who don't have any infrastructure built, because that's what you owe. And this is for probably young professionals or entrepreneurs in general, especially if you are in fitness, like this will benefit you. You need to have those things in place, dude. Like, I don't know if it's for social media for you or your website or an email list or all the things together, but you can't just train, bro, forever. Like you can't just do that with people, especially in person. There's things you're going to have to do. Like if you don't want to do fitness ever again, you don't have to. You can pivot and there's a million things. But a lot of people who are like, oh, I love doing fitness. I'm 25. I'm like, yeah, dude, but set yourself up to make the back end easier for you. And that's always what I would have to, and you're going to have to sell your wife or husband on it, because that's a whole different conversation. Like, luckily, you can meet somebody like we've met. So I'm like, hey, Heather, we're not going to, do this. We're going to invest in this thing, or we're going to buy this commercial building, or what the fuck we're going to do. I go, that's the tough sell. So you have some choices, because you will have less energy, or you'll just not think the same things are cool. And like, you always look at it the way I would, like, oh, I want to be excited about this. And there's certain things like, obviously the podcast was just to solve problems, and now it's turned into something different, obviously, for me, which is super cool. But when I film the shit, I'm like, it's just a job, dude. Like, I know it's going to help people, and I know they'll tell me it's fucking great, and like, it doesn't mean a whole lot. If I meet them in person, it's a little bit different of an impact, because you can kind of feel the energy from it. And they think they're meeting like a celebrity. Like, when people meet you, they're like, oh fuck, it's BJ Gaddour. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know you think that sounds weird, but they'll like freak the fuck out. Like, if we have you come to an event, like, people are like, oh, it's fucking BJ, bro. And people, like, because they'll say it to me, and I'm like, bro, I'm a fucking train wreck just like you. I just do these. But you've heard me talk, and you've seen me on video for so long. But when Heather comes in to film, I'm like, we're just here to work, dude. Like, I'm not getting joy out of showing you, how to, massage your pelvic bowl. Like, it's not my fucking, it doesn't fucking light me up,
Sounds sexy, though.
You know what I mean?
Honestly, that's a legit OnlyFans video right there.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm like, it's just a job. It's me checking a box for my day, because that allows me to do all these other things with my money and my time that I couldn't do. And I'm just very thankful. I'm like, bro, because if I was born in 1976 and I was trying to do this, I'm fucked. Like, I couldn't film the videos. Like, we couldn't put this shit out. I couldn't touch a million people. Like, that would be terrible.
Yeah, no. Look, these are first world problems.
But you have to think about it, because like, and I always joke, I go, who wants to watch me do push-ups when I'm 53? Like, and I joke with my mom. My mom like loves coming to the gym, right? I go, Janet, you think like I'm gonna be coaching the 915 group in like fucking 10 years for you? I go, you really think like that? I go, Heather will murder me in my sleep, bro. I go, that can't be a thing.
No.
And what I would do, this is me. There's certain things I would do. I would just do the scale less. The hard part is that you can't really scale down some of the things for them to exist and be profitable and make money. That's what's tough. Like, so, that's for me, like, right. Like I work with a kid, and I shared this in here before. He's like 400 pounds. I spend two days a week with him for like 30, 45 minutes, give or take. It's a terrible fucking use of my time in terms of money. It is literally me just lighting money on fire. Actually, me training anybody in person is me lighting money on fire.
It is.
Every day. I go, but I get something from that, and I think that's kind of what I'm supposed to do, right? Like if you get that, if that's a feeling or something. But at what point are you like, well, this takes too much from me at this point? And that's why I say for all the young fitness people out there, do structure it in a way where like you always enjoy the pieces of it you can enjoy. And don't do what BJ does or don't do what I do. You have to find your shit because it's different.
Yeah, and I'm honestly, like, I was talking to my wife yesterday about this. Like, still to this day, the best business move or money move we ever made was the first house we bought, the condo we bought that's on the riverfront of Milwaukee. Because not only is it the place we're going to go to when it gets
200 degrees
too hot here, because where we grew up, man, that's the place to go when the fucking climate situation really hits. The Great Lakes are going to be the spot.
Yeah.
I've got this real estate is going to be in 20 years. I mean, but I have to wait, obviously, for it to happen. Things are accelerating, though. We'll see.
Yeah.
But I guess what I'm saying is it's just a property, and I can live my life. Like, really what's tough is, like, content is tough, and we're at a point now where people just can't get it, where people are addicted to it. They can't get enough of it, and you got to keep making it.
Bro.
And you can't stop making it. And that's what's so tough is like to get up to making it. And then when it doesn't give you the return you hope it gets, and then time keeps accumulating and you get older and older and the energy gets lower and lower. And by the way, like I'm also at the age now where I can't keep up, like, because I really just can't consume it. It doesn't do anything for me. I don't like it.
Me neither.
I like to watch the Lakers. I like to fucking play and hang out with my dog. I love to talk and hang out with my wife, and love to eat. I love to do movement on my own terms. And then, I got some quarterly friendships like with you that it just keep me in sort of some sort of socialization. But that's the part that is, I think, is tough for people like you and I. Is like when does the content stop? How long does the content have to keep going? And at what level can you pivot to? Here's an example, right? Like mental health versus money. So if I answer all the DMs and I answer all the questions and all that stuff, we make a lot more money because then people start to think you care and you're friends and like, all this stuff. They show up, right?
Yeah.
But I can't sustain that. I've tried. I get crazy.
That's what I do.
That's what you do. And
it's serial killer mode, bro.
Dude, when I had done that in the past, I'll get a message from my little brother who I love just as much as my wife, the two people I love the most in my life. And I'll feel a type of way about the message. And I'm like, oh, this is wrong. Why is this? What's happening to me? And
you're spent.
That's where I'm at the line now. I'm willing to make less money. And I'm also now like, okay, now you got to just start to make money easier ways. Well, and that's why, like we talked about, that's that part of what's happened to me too. The worst thing that ever happened was the first OnlyFans post I made. I made one picture, didn't have to show my dick or my butthole, and we made a fucking G, bro. And I spent 2 months on this push-up video. 1.7 thousand people saw it. 2 months, and I spend money on it too. So it's one of those things we live in a time where the incentive structure is just fucked up. And because of that, like, why would I waste 2 months of my time on a fucking push-up video? When reality is whatever reason they're watching that, they're looking at that picture is because of all the work it still is all the work I've done up to this point.
For sure.
Like I'm just, and by the way, like you want to talk about hustle. That's what hustlers do. You want to give me that money? I'll take the money. And we do it on our own terms. But that's what's so difficult right now is that the world we live in has the incentive structures are fucked up.
Yeah.
There should be no reason that I should be incentivized to do an OnlyFans photo over making a push-up video. But
because one is providing like legit value that took years to learn and like it's.
But what's value? You know how much time I put into this fucking body?
True.
And there's value in giving someone an erection. Apparently.
Well, it's like when I listen to some girl like on like Barstool talk about, and I had the guy on my podcast who does the tax advising and financial advising for a bunch.
I heard that.
Yeah. But I watched a girl. She was like, "Yeah, I was making like $150K a month on OnlyFans," and then she was like, She did some video copying some person. I don't know the names, and she was now making like $350 a month, like $350,000.
Yeah, man.
And I sat there and I'm like, bro, like I always joke with Heather. I'm like, bro, if you want to live in this $5 million house, bro, you know what you got to, it's not my personality type, but I'm like, you know what you got to do, bro. But it's like, you hear that shit and it's like, I do think that's an overall picture of the economy in the world. Like, how are you going to get these kids to apply for a job at insert whatever business for $76,000 a year when they get on the fucking internet and make $150K doing fucking nothing? Like that's where it's like, fuck, dude. So it's a weird thing, especially when you've put in so much time to do something and it is your life's work. It really is, and it's like 2,000 people see it, which is still crazy, right? But you're
but I mean, again, like that's the thing it's
scalable.
The problem is I've already been at a place where
millions.
Yeah. So I'm fucked. And this is
you flew first class and now you got to be in Southwest C48. Stuck next to two people.
Too close to the sun.
Yep.
And unfortunately, based on what the market tells me, what people want, I don't know what to tell you, man. Like, and that's what's difficult is because I'm old. I don't have a lot of energy, and I certainly don't have the motivation. And when I in 5 minutes I can make $1,000 to make that through fitness, the amount of extra work that requires. And then it's not even just the OnlyFans example. It's because, again, we all have whatever fucking moral code you have. And, I don't have kids. I don't work with kids. I don't give a shit what you think about me. And at the end of the day, I am a hustler. But I also am old and I have to work smarter. And if the market is telling me you don't want this good fitness content that I put my heart and soul into, that takes so much fucking time to produce, that requires a team and an infrastructure, right, to deliver.
Oh yeah. Bro.
Versus this other end. I mean, fuck, bro. It does get to the point where it's like, why are you wasting your time? But the reality is, and this is, I wish, I don't know, you could say you wish, and I'll say it this way, I admire your willingness to keep doing things the way you do them, because I don't know how you do it. And I know you get the return you deserve, and it's fantastic, but it's impressive. I don't know how you do it.
It's every person on my 6 a.m. group. You hear that shit? Listen to me when I talk, when I come in. No, it's in this anything in your entrepreneur, no matter what you do, there's a tax you pay, for sure.
Yeah.
Of whatever it is, if it's your time, energy, loneliness, like you fucking name it. Like most of the time, like I'm cool with just being. I get something from it. The minute that either I don't get what I need to get from it, I won't do it. Or when financially it's so dumb, I can't avoid it anymore. Like, okay, if someone was like, hey, Jeremy, we want to come level the whole fucking block, dude, and you're the last dude holding out, man, and we're gonna give you $5 million. Sorry, everybody. Like, it's just not going to happen anymore. Like, I can't. Like, then Heather would be like, hey, it's over, bro. Like, the dream is dead. Let's watch the bulldozers fucking take her. And I'd be cool with it, because I've given so much to it. Like, I feel like that. Like, hey, man, I've given more than other people would if they were in the same position, But it is a lot, dude. I'll be the first one to tell you, like, the older I get to showing up, before 5. And on like a Monday, I still work the whole like old school day, and I try to say like keeps me young, and I'll clock into that bitch before 5, and I'm out after 6, and the whole day is with like humans, and that Tuesday, bro, is rough. Like Tuesday morning when I get in, it's like it's rough. I'm like, fuck, dude. I'm like, how did I fucking do this for like years every day, and then by the way, work all day Friday, and then come back to the gym and film all the programs we would film for like 3 hours and like basically one take every fucking video. I'm like, that was like, it's impressive. And now you have it built. And to David Jack's point, we talked about this before. The day I went to go get my MRI, David Jack calls me like, Fitness Jesus typically does. And he's like, you've been grinding, bro. And I don't know why he even said it or how it came up. He's like, but you don't have to do it that hard anymore. He goes, you can. He goes, I know you're not going to coast. And we talked about that before too. But he's like, you can pick your spots. It's like, if you want to think of it as like fighting, right? Like if you're Ali, you don't got to go in, bro, and just throw. You can just sit there and you know how to move. And when you want to turn it on, you can, and I need to be better at that if it's me, just because it's like I give and I give and I give. And I'm like, bro, and I've got the return. So like, don't feel bad for me. But it's like anybody who works at that clip, like I've watched other people do it. Now I'll leave you guys with this. I sat there, like I take care of my body, obviously, but admittedly, in the last couple of years, this business and my life has made more money than I ever thought possible. Just being real. I've sat way more than I've ever sat. I've probably skipped touching my psoas or stretching my quads enough or whatever it was and all these other things. And maybe I've pushed it too far for being 23 years old. I'm closer to 40 years old. That comes at a price, and I have to be better at that stuff to where it's like, hey, now I'm like, I don't ever say I'm behind anymore. I'm behind on email. No, I'm not behind. It just is where it is. And you guys will get the messages back when you get them. You'll be cool. Where before it was like, I got to do this and this. And like, it's okay, dude. It'll wait. I need to do all my shit first. And I would do that some of the times. And now I'm to the point where like, I have to do it all the time. I created this world and I can do whatever the fuck I need to do. And this is the first time in my business where I've had clients who are making millions of dollars a year leave their jobs because they're like, bro, I'm fucking not healthy. I feel like shit. I have anxiety. I'm drinking. My habits are terrible. I need to make less money to be healthier. And you're there. And for me, it wasn't the money thing. It was just like this, how much can I get done? Like that's the money is not the addiction. It's the how.
It's the requirements.
Yeah.
It's the requirements.
This is what it takes to do all these things I want to do. And now it's like, well, I can still do all those, but I need to do all this shit first. And so that's a realization I think anybody should have. If you're working in a job, whether it's for money or prestige or you're chasing something or you're doing it, as long as you are always taking care of you before all that, you're fine. The problem is we spend a disproportionate amount of time doing that thing, making a push-up video or doing whatever and not doing our own shit. And it's like, it's okay, dude. And how much money do you need? I don't know. That's the answer. Only you can answer. But I think most of us, if we looked at it and the way I frame it to I got some clients who are like, jet people. They have fucking jets. So they're different level than all of us. I'm like, how much do you need, bro? Like what is it worth? And if you went back to yourself 10 years ago and you said, this would be your life. This is how much money you'll have. This is how much money you'll make. This is what it looks like. Would that be enough? I would be like, are you fucking kidding me, bro? Like I remember Heather sitting in our living room or in our kitchen. And this is years ago before the world went super fucking dumb. And she's like, Jeremy, if we could just ever one day like live in a house that was like $500,000, I would be so fucking happy. And bro, my house is like $1 million fucking dollars now. And she's not happy with it. And so it's like that scale will always slide if you're not in touch with reality. And so I just try to remind myself of the younger me. Like how thankful would you just be with this shit? And try not to get into the just do more. Because again, it's more people on the app, more clients in person, more people listen to the podcast, more money on the sponsorships. It's like that game I'll lose forever. Because it's like strength. Sometimes you're just not going to deadlift more than 600 pounds, bro.
Yeah.
It just and you can do different things though. And if I made a little bit less money or was a little bit less busy, could I do? Here's my example. I'm sorry, I'm rambling here. It's like 3 fucking hours in. Sorry, Heather, and everybody else. I want to go see John Wick 4. Because first of all, I've been fucking injured like an old person, but I'm not old, but I just feel that way. And so I've been watching John Wick every day, bro. So on Peacock Network, it plays all 3 back to back to back, and it never stops it. So all day at work, some days it just streams. That's it. And so like I literally think I'm John Wick. I have a fucking problem. And so I wanted to see John Wick 4, but it was only playing at certain times. And I'm like, but I need to do this protein podcast instead. And so I chose to do the protein podcast because I knew it would help so many people and it would make a fuck ton of money, instead of going to see John Wick. And like, those are decisions that I have to start making differently. Like, dude, you are you. You can go watch a movie on a Friday afternoon at 2:00. You don't have to give these guys
protein, bro, man.
But
I'm sorry, man. Protein,
bro. And so people are like, protein timing, how much can I absorb or use for protein synthesis at each meal, how much leucine per, all the bullshit. That, first of all, these podcasts are fun. I would do this with you every fucking day. I would listen to a scientist from the Calm app talk every day. Me talking about protein is like, I don't give a fuck about protein. Dude, I don't give a shit. I go, but I know it would help people and it would push things along. And I'm like, well, if I schedule it this way, I do this pot with BJ this week, next week I can watch John Wick. That's still where my mind is. That's how fucked I am, everybody. So everybody who like wants to be like me, realize how crazy of a person you think you want to be like, you know? So, but I identify it though. The first step to realizing you're insane and crazy is actually like admitting it.
Yeah. Self-awareness is key.
And then be like, okay, dude, you can go watch a movie. You have money. You have everything. Nothing will change. No. And here's the thing. No one fucking cares. Like, not to be an asshole, everybody, and not to be sad. And this is the most depressing podcast we've probably ever done, other than the one where you were suicidal. But it's like 100 years from now, no one will give a fuck about any of this stuff. And so
absolutely not.
Work hard, be healthy, try to achieve all the things you want to achieve, but literally have fun along the way. And I would do 90% of this stuff for free anyway. 10% of it I wouldn't do. 90% I would do just because I think fitness is cool, and I think talking shit is cool, and the stuff we do is cool. But you have to enjoy it. And the minute that it starts becoming not fun and feeling like a job, which I've said that to Heather more probably later on, because we do so much, right? And I'm like, when it starts to feel like more of a job, I don't want to do it. Like, because I don't want to make it serious. You know, like, yeah, we film stuff and we do all the things, but...
Yeah, talk to me when the app is 6 years old. And it's going to be tough, bro. It's going to be tough.
It's just hard to get up, you know, unless there's some feedback loop, like whether that's emotional currency or whatever it is. Like, it has to be that, because it's not money, dude. Money has never been the thing for me anyway. Like, it's fucking cool. Don't get me wrong. I could do cool shit. We can go cool places, but that's not what keeps me in it. It has to be something where it's like, okay, I've figured this out. I made myself feel better through these things. Can I make other people feel better through these things? Can I get the buy-in as your people, like the people who love you or me or anybody else, as they age and we age together, will they follow me on the journey to being healthy, like bulletproof for the next 20 years, if that's what it is? As opposed to, no, Jeremy just beat the fuck out of me. I'm like, well, sorry, Rick. Like, you don't need that, bro. You need this instead. If I can get him to do that, I think that helps.
For sure, man.
But if not, see where it goes.
Yeah, we certainly will, man.
Where can these guys find you at?
I have a couple places.
So you can literally never talk to them, but you can send them a message.
Yeah, but again, like, I can help you without ever speaking to you, and that's what I hope people to do ongoing. I have a gift I hope to continue to share. BJGaddour.com is the main site. At BJ Gaddour, all outlets.
And the push-up program.
That is going to be available on Amazon. You can get a hard copy book or the Kindle, the Ultimate Push-Up Guide, and you can search Ultimate Push-Up Guide or BJ Gaddour, my name, BJ Gaddour, and that's the place to be. I'm also on OnlyFans.
So if you guys are into that, whether it's push-ups or b-holes, whatever you're...
No b-hole yet.
You know, hey man, if the price is, it's like people would ask, like, you know, I don't knock that like anybody else. People are like, hey, would you endorse McDonald's? I'm like, no. But if they call me tomorrow and said, Jeremy, I'll give you $10 million to talk about the Big Mac, I'd be like, so send over the paperwork, bro.
If you could make $1,000 in 5 minutes, you would.
It's, you know,
it's not illegal.
You know,
it is what it is.
We draw the line where we draw the line.
We sure do.
By
the way. If more people watch the push-up video, I wouldn't have to.
See that, dude? YouTube. What's your YouTube? Just BJ Gaddour.
YouTube.com. I can't speak. We've been talking long. YouTube.com/BJ Gaddour.
Your YouTube is awesome, by the way. You put out a lot of good shit, man. You really do. I don't just say that either. Most people put out stuff that sucks.
Growing at the all-time slowest rate in the history of YouTube channels, by the way.
Is it really?
Oh yeah, slowest growth I've seen on anything I've ever done. It's amazing. It's a tough place to grow.
Yeah, we load ours now, all the stuff. We film everything, obviously, but yeah, it's painful, for sure. But part of the game, dude. One day at a time.
Rest in peace.
Give them a follow, you guys. Check it out. Again, JeremyScottFitness.app, you guys. Free 7-week trial. AthleticGreens.com/JeremyScott. Or if you want a free sample, hit me up. I'll send it to you anywhere. I don't care where you're at. Take it. You don't eat enough greens. It's good for you. As always, brother, I appreciate it, man.
My pleasure, man. Keep killing it.
You guys on Apple, drop it a 5-star, leave a comment. Same thing for Spotify. And you guys have an awesome rest of your week. We'll talk to you in a couple of days. And until next time, eat well, train hard, be nice to people. And please, you guys, keep doing shit you love with people you enjoy because your life is too short not to. I'll talk to you soon. Peace.